chances to the bigs. So until the Lakers either develop, and this is my thing, Gus, and this is as a coach in the organization, you got to be a little smart. You can't always go out and trade for what you need. Sometimes you got to start developing. My point is, early in the season, you should have $30. Guess what? I always start.
Alright, everybody, get them while they're hot. Lobsters, clams, chicken, shrimp, and bikinis, too.
I didn't even make a new intro. I was too lazy.
Wow, that's such a smooth sound. So we rectified some of the popping sounds from Thursday, which we've had before. I mean, it's been there, but it's been much more subtle. So we decided to. I mean, I really tried to tinker with it and do this Jeff Schickian tech support thing. I decided, and I'd done this originally, and it's a phenomenal. I was actually told by Dennis, aka the Jackie Chair, that the sound actually, because of the tablet, when you do the microphone thing from the tablet, which is what I had originally done doing this, it can be a smoother sound. It just runs clearer or something, and you'll hear Sarah sounds a little bit louder, a little bit clearer. Not that there wasn't decent sound. There was just a weird, and it's a Windows 10 issue that clashes with StreamYard. I don't want to get all tedious, but that was what. So this is just a much, it's a more ironclad way that you're never going to get a mic popping sound again. You were getting mercilessly mocked in the comments on Thursday.
Oh, trust me, I am glad to bow out anytime. I could use technology as my excuse that time.
You are someone that does not crave the spotlight. And speaking of which, I want to thank all our brilliant panelists. Scott Balo for his second appearance, and David, the violinist, who is absolute baby Benjamin, as they're calling him, absolute, in his Cuisinart brilliance. He, I'm sure most everybody, but he lives up to the comments. He's like, "Who is this brilliant boy? Who is this capricious Martha Ray denizen?" And he lives up to the comments. He sounds like a baby Benjamin, Sarah, doesn't he?
It's been a while, to be honest, but sure, I'll go with that.
They call you. Benjamin's a big fan of yours, by the way. Melvin called you Sarah Redenbacher.
I know. That's fine. I mean, the first pop today, and I'm out, so Arm can take over.
No, it's a way different sound. I think not necessarily. I mean, yeah, I guess it's better. It's buttermilk is better. I want to Hooper. Hello, sir. There's always a. I mean, this is the guy who watches. Sarah, you think you're a crazy Blazer fan? Has there ever been a season where you watched all 82 games?
Yes.
Okay, he watches all 162 Mets games.
I don't know how anybody can finish one baseball game.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
I watched 2 World Series ago. I was grossed out by all the spitting. I couldn't handle it after a while. I was sitting there nauseous, and I can handle anything. But that pitcher, I think he's like Asian. I don't know his name, but he's just like gleeking everywhere. I wanted to throw up.
Is that a Super Friends reference?
No, gleeking is a high school reference.
Oh, I thought it was a Gleek, the space monkey.
No.
Oh, as in Glee Club, or?
No, gleek is where you like clench your teeth and you're able to spit through your teeth. It's disgusting.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I know that. I don't know if I've ever.
I'll send you a video of it someday if you're strong enough.
What are you, Sheryl Crow? Who are you, Sheryl Crow over there? My cousin is a huge seam head still, and I have long since I've gotten very jaded. But I'm more in lines with you. I don't. I used to know minor leaguers when I was in
Mm-hmm.
my late teens and stuff. I used to know everything. And it just, after the strikes, the lockouts, and the steroids, and the weird Hall of Fameness, it's very, very hard to. And it's a strange game now. I was Bob Costas. In fact, I watched an interview with him the other day. He had said, in fact, it was Rob Lowe's podcast. That's the story. Rob Lowe's podcast, and he told Rob Lowe that 75% of Major League Baseball has Nolan Ryan's strikeout ratio. Now they all just swing for the fences, like it's just so you don't even know what stats are
Oh,
anymore
yeah.
with the
Yeah.
steroid stuff and the weird home run stuff, McGuire, Bonds, and Sosa. You don't know what the hell you're watching anymore. Like it's
Well,
Nolan Ryan's like the all-time strikeout. Like he's the best strikeout pitcher ever. It's like not even close. And now 75% of baseball has his strikeout rate. So if you pay to see a pitcher, he's only going to go 5 innings. You go
mm-hmm.
to a stadium specific, which is what when I went to games, you went to really watch the pitcher. I mean, that was why. Oh my God, it's Brett Saberhagen versus Greg Swindell, and that's why you went to the state. And then if you knew Saberhagen was only going to pitch 5 innings, you may not go.
Yeah. See, I
Right?
I can't relate. I know there's a lot of people that just their heart is in baseball. They still believe it's like the America's pastime.
Not that. I mean, it's a
It's so
distant third
boring.
to the NBA. Well, it's not. I mean, there's a lot. The demographic, I think it's the average age is old white 55-year-old white people, 55 and above
Ugh.
white males, I think is the exact demographic.
Yeah.
Like my nephew's generation, all of them, and they're all kind of in their 20s, and it goes, NFL is king, it always will be. The NBA has gone crazy in the last few years, and the UFC is now in there. I said
I
to
can't.
last time, I mean, even if you're not into it, but I've said last time, I think what really hurt Major League Baseball is their inability to roll with the new and update to. They're stuck in the Stone Age in so many ways, and one of the ways is the Xbox series had no video game for like 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kids do. Kids have to be immersed in the video games here. So it was only for the PlayStation, the show, and Xbox. They had exclusive rights. So any kid who was brand allegiance to Xbox had no video game representation, and that's a huge swath of generations. You'll lose it,
Mm-hmm.
whether baseball wants to admit it or not.
Yeah.
It's so my cousin's a huge team head. So what he does is he DVRs he's actually a Mets fan too, and he watches it in 20 minutes. Because all you got to do, if of action, if you just fast forward through the action, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Pitch to dead ball to pitch, it's
Mm.
basically 20 minutes.
You're excited that you hear a pop from the ball hitting the bat, and then it's a foul. It's like, oh fuck.
Well, look, to bring it back to Depp, so you brought up the spitting so I remember reading a Playboy interview in 1995. So Depp is talking about how you can't really be yourself with the paparazzi all over you. The quote went something like, "I just want to go somewhere where I can, grab my crotch and
Mm,
spit and
my
spit
house.
spit somewhere and he was like that. He's like that, like that woman who sang the national anthem." And the interviewer goes, "Roseanne?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, Roseanne." And and the guy goes, "Well, you should be a baseball player." He goes, "Yeah, well, yes, exactly. I could spit and grab my crotch and do all like his mentality, what his behavior in normal life would go best in the things you could do as a baseball player don't go in normal society, like spit and grab your crotch. Like, oh, that's cool."
Mm-hmm.
I always think it's weird too in sports how it's like they have their own laws or something in terms of, so if you have a brawl in a baseball, especially like in a basketball game, or it's assault. So could you just arrest someone? Like if you're a player, like, I didn't want to get I didn't want to get japped from behind.
Oh
I'm
my god.
I'm I'm filing an assault. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the only thing where you could just punch someone in the face and not get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, UFC, that's the sport, and hockey is a sport that crutches on that fighting because the sport itself doesn't hold up. You know what I mean? Like half the people are there to watch a fight. So if the sport was held up on its own, you wouldn't need fighting to have people tuned in. It's the stupidest thing in the world. It's almost barbaric in a way. Like, it's just so, like, you can fight in sport. Why is that not governed under? You know what I mean? Is that not assault? You just choose not. Is it a gentleman's agreement to not file assault that you could just
I don't know. I'm sure
attack someone?
documents are signed before a fight
There's
or a
gotta be.
game.
There's gotta be. There's gotta be. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
I mean, Antonio Brown should have sued the shit out of Burfict for that hit, but nothing came of it. He got his medical bills paid, and he went off to have his career implode later. But nothing happened. It should have, but
If we're walking down the sidewalk and someone threw something by me and almost hit me, and I charged the person and assault them, they could have me arrested.
mm-hmm.
But you can't. It doesn't happen in a baseball game. If someone threw 98 miles an hour at your head, you'd be like, I am charging. You know how much damage that can cause if you get hit with a post 100-mile-per-hour baseball. That is crazy. And man, I don't even know how the umpires see it, number one. But like, that is just blatant assault. When you're told, and that's what I can't stand, that retribution in baseball, throwing at people. I think it's the dumbest thing. I literally think it's utterly barbaric. I would never, if a manager told me, give him some chin music, throw it at his head. Nope, that's okay. You do it.
Yeah, I know.
102 miles an hour at your head.
Mm-hmm.
What do you get from that? You want to win that way? And what does it do exactly? Does it ever lead to a win? I don't think it does. It's so stupid.
No, it's just male aggression. Look at me, the woke
No, well,
female
it's
talking.
what do they say? Toxic masculinity.
Masculinity. Well, I have one more question for you before we get to the topic here today. If Xavier McDaniel met you on the sidewalk and put his hands around your neck, would you file charges or would you kiss his feet for doing it?
No, I'd let him do it. I'd let him do it and take a selfie while he's. I'd probably ask him to choke me, like I'm Wes Matthews in
kinky.
1988. He choke my chicken.
While he's doing it.
CB writes, how do we get on this? CB writes, anyone watch the Banana Rules baseball? They made new rules. It's hilarious. 2-hour time limit. Yes, I completely. They easily can make it to it. If the batter steps out of the box, it counts as a strike. Yes. CB. My nephew has a rule too. My nephew's an NBA fanatic. He loves. Is a huge Russell Westbrook fan. He said that he and I thought it was almost brilliant. He thinks that. So we're watching a game. We're watching I think it was a playoff game at their house, and he says why he doesn't understand why there's base coaches. It would be like playing basketball and a coach follows you around the court and tells you, like in the game, he's like, get rid of the first base and third base coach and let the runners have at it themselves. Let them be creative and let them do what they want. It would add an element of risk and dare to the game instead of, you know what I mean? It would bring an element. I thought it was the most brilliant thing I ever heard. Get rid of the first and third base coaches and let the runners do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
There's just
Agreed.
so many. Gina
Speaking of
Bobino,
chat,
welcome.
Yeah, speaking of chat, a man named, and I know who this is, Hooper says nobody cares about basketball. Hooper.
Yeah. I want you to poll sports fans from 40 to 15 and tell me how that percentage goes. Baseball, the NBA versus Major League Baseball, and the ratings. And what do all these sports shows talk about, right? I don't think like the Stephen A. Smith show and they don't talk about not even a topic. It's not even on the docket.
Yeah, but to be fair, they don't talk about the mechanics of the game. They talk about the drama that Kevin Durant is causing today, or
right. But it dominates it's July and they're talking about the NBA.
Yeah, or they're jealous of Lillard's new extension. By the way, congratulations, my king.
What is it? $60 million a year?
It is $120 for 2 years.
That's one guy who actually is everything right about the NBA and giving the fans their money's worth and showing up every night. And you don't have to worry about load management with him or any of bullshit. He really walks the walk, stays with the same team. He's everything right about the NBA, him and Giannis.
And nobody outside of the two states here, Washington and Oregon, could ever grasp how important this man is and beloved this man is to this region. He is our king of this territory.
So he's usurped Clyde Drexler.
Oh God, Drexler abandoned us we sold him for pennies on the dollar to Houston. We got back Otis Thorpe.
Yeah, I love Otis Thorpe.
Yeah.
But that's not the Otis Thorpe. You didn't get the in his prime Otis Thorpe. You got kind of on the back nine of his career. He was, and again, Drexler and Thorpe were never equals in terms of trade. There was a pick involved and something else. But Drexler got a ring with the Rockets, and he's the second best
Of
player on the
course he
team.
did. That's why he. Ugh,
I
anyway.
don't count rings. I hate that. But yeah, who would
I
want?
know. Nobody wants to hear about the
He's a Blazer.
Trailblazers.
I know.
Yeah,
All
I know.
right. Okay. So we're going to start this with the weird shrapnel Amber Heard crap. It just it's almost like exhausting.
I'm so tired of this broad.
Doesn't go away. It doesn't. So there's two things. You studied up on one of them. I'm not quite as knowledgeable on the kind of ins and outs of this, but I know it. I mean, I know. So there's something now with the juror. Let's go with you want to go with the jury story, the fake juror?
Yeah, I'll give you the basics of it. Are you reading something for that?
I'm going to read the.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to read this from Deadline. Let me screen share this.
Now, keep in mind, everybody, this is bottom of the barrel. She is scraping away. She is so desperate to get a mistrial or a new trial. She is grasping at everything.
Let me say hi to everybody first in the chat that's kind enough to join us on this very soporific Sunday. I feel Hooper 45, T Busy, Melvin, David, again, welcome. Thank you for joining us Thursday with all your brilliance. You come back again, hopefully this Thursday when we do part 2 of that. We're right in the middle of the Depp Stern interview. I think we're like 11 minute and 30-second mark. NA, welcome. You're sure the popping is not the constant pitter patter of Sarah's umbrella?
I know. No, it's a beautiful day today, and I'm not even out in it. I'm podcasting. It's like 83 today.
She's used to. You sound really good. I mean, I think
always
that's a
sound
really crisp. No, I mean the tablet, and Dennis is right. The tablet is a really crisp and clear. If you have the right microphone on a tablet, it sounds better than a PC does. The PC has always got some Windows conflict, and I heard Windows 10 is a real shit show with a lot of compatibility problems and stuff. Gina Bobina, let us know what that show you're doing is. I think you said it was Wednesday, so we can plug it here, so everybody we could pay it forward, as it were. Wig pro quo. Yeah, the CB. Well, yeah, I guess you read this already, but I'm gonna read it again. CB says, "Loved you guys on the show, Belo and David. Sarah, we missed you. You sound great today." Gungadin, welcome, Sarah. What are your thoughts on Amber Heard? Wanted a retrial? Yeah, we're gonna get to that, Gungadin. I'm just catching up and saying hi to everybody. Apparently, you could strike someone at the Oscars. Oh, that's right, CB. Right, the Will Smith. Right. Why can you just punch? I think Chris Rock was asked about pressing charges, and he just manned up and said, "No, he looks even better by not doing that."
Well, apparently, also during the Oscars, the police were there. I guess they went up to Will Smith in his chair and said, "Okay, do you want to leave?" He said,
"Yeah."
He said no, so they just left.
I think what gets lost in, I know I'm everyone's tired of this. I think what gets lost in the shuffle is all the Will Smith enablers that were at the Oscars that get Travolta and the fucking Scientology cult. By the way, there was a new Scientology thing, Sarah, with maybe we can talk about this Thursday a little bit, because of Leah Remini brought somebody out. Some woman's life got ruined by Cruz, and she's going nuts on him because of the because of Jesus, what just came out? God damn it, what's the movie just came out?
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun 2, right? Top Gun 2. So she's all the Tom Cruise, positivity of that. She's shooting it down and talked about how he ruined her life and blah blah blah. It was crazy. I read this last night really quick, and all the celebration. Top Gun 2, like, just annihilated at the box office. Crazy money it made.
I know it did. It tied with my Elvis movie. I don't know how Elvis did this week. I want to check, but I think more people should be seeing Elvis. Apparently, it's very good, and I'm jealous of those who have seen it. But I'm looking for a legal download.
Denzel Washington and John Travolta and other people just completely enabled Will Smith during that whole thing, and I think they should be held accountable.
There's a reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you there is, oh God, I hate even talking about my internet history, but when back in the day, I think it was like 2004, Yeah, about that. I was on the freekatie.net message board. I was basically a lurker, and I only posted occasionally. But that was a whole website. It's kind of like a Katie Holmes version of Stern Fan Network.
Yeah, well, that was part of the thing I read. The woman wrote, there's a reason why Tom Cruise hasn't seen Surrey in how many whatever
Yeah,
years.
exactly.
Yeah,
But the
it's
live there were people that were on that website who actually worked for him as Sea Org members, and they were there secretly, and they would post details about day-to-day life. And he has a scary life. It's a
yeah,
very sad life.
yep.
Like, the only time he is actually halfway human is him when he's in a movie. He's acting on a movie set.
I remember patting myself on the back last night. Pompously patting myself on the back last night because I said out loud, and this is even more pompous, uh, that Leah Remini is the Liz Cheney of Scientology. You know,
Hmm.
defecting on the Republicans in the same way,
I
and
like
now
Leah
she's
Remini
like
more.
Liz Cheney is a lot of people say you remind them of her. With
Hmm.
your speech cadence, you're like the silent
I think
assassin, you
you're
know,
the only one that
focused.
said that, I
No,
think.
I think I'm getting a lot of people on board.
Ugh.
A lot of people are saying Sarah reminds them of Liz Cheney. A lot of people, a lot of friends
Mm.
of mine.
Speaking of that impression you just did, we have something that we need to record soon for Patreon. I'm just reminding
Oh,
you.
Depp playing Trump in the
Yes,
Art of
yes,
the Deal.
yes.
I think that's so underrated.
We're
Depp
gonna.
did a short movie. It's like slightly under an hour of Depp plays Trump, and they reenact the Art of the Deal in the late '80s. I absolutely love it.
And we're going to do a fair use and transformative content version where we view and watch this, and we figured out how to do it now, and we're going to record it. I'm letting you know this for the first time, sometime this week.
The cameos in that movie are the best. Ron
Mm-hmm.
Howard, Clint Howard, who Depp was in RPG, the Charlie Sheen short film in
Mm-hmm.
1985 he made. Depp's 86. I'm sorry, because Depp did that because of Platoon, so he's like 86. It came out.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Richter, Paul Scheer. It's so many people in that movie. We gotta watch. I can't wait to watch it again. Melvin, thank you, Melvin. Melvin writes. He follows up on the baseball, the assault thing I was talking about. He goes, the absence of consent is an element of battery, which means that if an athlete consents to the use of force, then there is no crime. Wow.
Mm.
And I guess that's part of your contract, right? You would think like
Well, it's the
baseball's not
papers you
synonymous
sign.
with fighting, right? You don't think of baseball. That'd be funny if an athlete goes, "No, I'm not consenting to fight. I'm not." Like if I were I mean, like just a pitcher that is told to hit a batter. The coach tells him to peg someone as some stupid
Ew.
intimidation, and I'm a pitcher and I read that like I'm not signing that. Because I'm gonna be jumped because you told me to do it. I'm not signing it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, take it out. That's what
Then
I
they
would say.
don't have a career, and they're coaching at the local high
Yeah.
school.
And then it follows up. When someone agrees to play a sport, they effectively consent to physical consistent with the
Mm-hmm.
understood rules of the game. That's not a rule of the game, though. It's a weird thing. Lawyers could probably dissect that all day. I wonder if John O'Reilly has to say about that.
All right, let's get to the topic.
Okay. What does it say? Hi. Kylo Sierra Alpha, welcome. We said Gina Bobina, Hooper 45, CB. Okay. David writes, Arm, have you seen a clip of Depp kissing British comic Dawn French? She had a bit going to kiss all these famous guys, and Depp is on the list.
Ugh.
It's a deep cut. It's very Hall and Oates of you, David. It's a very deep cut, but you know what I bet. I have seen it. I have not thought of that. When was David? You know when that was exactly? I do believe I've seen it and didn't know who she was. Yeah, where's G Canada been and Crazy Robin? I gotta.
There's no Amber Heard anymore. Well, he'll be in today.
Yeah.
He'll sniff out your mention of her name here in a minute, and he'll be
He
on.
will, yeah. That's true. Amber Heard is what brings him to the. Oh no, I don't want to. So I'm gonna read. I am going to read this. I'm going to read this. This is not the insurance thing. I'm going to read the verdict about. So this is about. Sarah, how would you describe this? Is a juror, so a fake juror apparently, which seems to be legitimate during the trial.
Okay.
And I
The gist of this is there's a junior and a senior living at the same address, apparently, from what I've gathered.
in Fairfax.
Yes, and you can correct me in the article if you read something
It's
other
from
than that.
Deadline. Okay.
Okay, so they have a date of birth that's like 20 years apart, which is, father son, you would assume. But they apparently the son showed up for the jury selection. I don't know if just opened the mail, thought it was him. Went to jury selection, sat there, went through the whole vetting process between both sides, the defense and the plaintiff. Nobody picked up on anything. So that was their opportunity to raise any issues they had with jurors, as it says in Virginia law. So her team, they are out of luck. They had their opportunity, and they even state in their motion that, yeah, we know this isn't grounds for a mistrial, but we're going to try anyway, pretty much. So it's desperation. While it is a little, it's a little shady, they had their chance, and they're not able to go back now after the trial and bring all these issues up about jurors.
That's crazy. It's just endless. Hail Mary attempts, but it never stops. It's almost
I think she gets
exhausting.
off on this.
Oh God, yeah. It keeps her
Because if she just lets it go, he's gone forever.
She's
So
also
this is
getting
a way. This is the closest she's going to get to him now from here on out, is to keep doing this.
she's also getting God knows who, crazy feminists contacting her all the time at different angles they can go to try to appeal it. I mean, what we know is not 1/8, not 1/30th of what's happening behind the scenes. People contacting her trying to reignite this. There's G Canada, Sarah. Good afternoon,
Yeah,
all. Not
I
kicked
told
by
you.
There he is. Was he just listening and decided he didn't feel like writing anything, and then he heard his name? He's like, "All right, I'm gonna get way in now." You don't
He
bring me
smelled her and he came running.
up. He smelt that. What was Rodney's? What was the strip club? Palacios, the Palacios
Oh
stripper
God, in
review.
Austin, yeah.
Palacios Gentlemen's Club in Austin. That's what Rodney said. All right. Okay. So here I go. I'm going to read this article. This is from Deadline. By the way, the author of this article hates Depp. I've seen him on I have seen this guy on jeez, I gotta get rid of the screen here. Something came
What's the name?
Dominic Patton, and he is on Court TV with a Depp push. He's very Depp contrarian, and they have reported on him for years now with really like crazy access to documents I've used on here that nobody else has, and they have some.
I've never watched him. Does he seem like he's a fan of old Hollywood, or does it seem like he's white knighting her?
Are you calling him a fruit basket, Sarah?
No, not at all. I said a fan of old Hollywood.
You know who else is a fan of old Hollywood?
I
A little
know.
gentleman named David, the violinist.
I know.
And you're brilliant.
He is old Hollywood.
He is old Hollywood.
Hollywoodland, sorry.
Hollywoodland is a very underrated movie. It's good. Did you see that, Sarah? Hollywoodland?
No.
With Ben Affleck playing George Reeves.
That's why, no.
Yeah. Okay, so it goes like this. If there wasn't, oh, by the way, I just realized this. When we got off on Thursday, we're talking to David and Scott Bailey for a couple minutes. But David has developed, he's such a brilliant composer and musician and writer. He's actually a video game developer too, and he's coming out with a game called Canasta 2023 for EA Sports. This is the article goes exclusive. If there wasn't enough drama swirling around Johnny Depp's win over Amber Heard in the multi-million-dollar defamation suit last week, things have turned judicially weird. Ms. Heard had a right to rely on the basic protections prescribed by the Virginia Code that the jurors in this trial would be individuals who were actually summoned for jury duty. Says a partially redacted new filing on Friday by I hate when they do this shit. By the Aquaman star legal team. In this case, I love when they use a movie that is like really old. So with like Depp, you go, the Benny and June star, and they're writing an article in like 2022. In this case, it appears that juror number 15. Did we ever see, Sarah, the profile of 15?
No, we don't
remember.
Know. 54-year-old, I think.
Yeah, I think they do. The reason I chose this article is they do say the age. I went through 4 or 5 different articles, and I thought this one had the most details. So I think that comes up later in a moment, down in this article. Jury number 15 was not, in fact, the same individual listed in the jury panel. Attorney Elaine Bredehoft adds, in language similar to previous filing on June 24th, Miss Heard's due process was therefore compromised. Under these circumstances, a mistrial should be declared and a new trial ordered. Unlike the previous motion and memorandum, I can't say memorandum without thinking of Mr. Feeney. Unlike the previous motion and memorandum placed in the Fairfax County Courthouse docket last month to dismiss the June 1st verdict and get a new trial, today's supplemental memo has a lot more details on what could snatch a victory from Depp in his long legal battle with. Now this guy. See, this Dominic Pat is rooting for this. It's almost like it's a very biased slant here. You could tell by just this sentence alone. You could snatch victory from Depp in his long legal battle with his ex-wife. According to the redacted filing, the summons for jury duty was sent out to a Virginia resident in April for the much-delayed $15 million defamation action Depp had set off on March 2019 against Heard for 2018 Washington Post op-ed piece she penned on being public face of domestic abuse. However, also, according to today's filing, it seems that there are 2 individuals residing at the same address and at the very least the same last name. One is a 77-year-old and another is a 52-year-old. The former was the one summoned, but it looks like the latter was the one who showed up. Thus, the 52-year-old sitting on the jury for 6 weeks was never actually summoned for jury duty on April 11th and did not appear in the list as required. Friday's damning filing asserts. Not noticed by officers or clerks of the court, the younger individual made it all the way to the jury without apparently ever being asked to produce any ID, or with perhaps fake ID, the filing implies. Additionally, it looks like someone filled out the required online information form, either intentionally or accidentally, to say that they were born in 1945. Unaware of this at the time, was that David Brenner faking his age? Unaware of this at the time, and during the media frenzy trial, Heard's defense team now wants an explanation to see consequences, which could take the shine off Team Depp. As the court no doubt agrees, it is deeply troubling for an individual not to summon for jury duty, nonetheless to appear for jury duty to serve on a jury, especially in a case such as this. This was a high-profile case where the fact and the date of the jury trial were highly publicized prior to and after the issuance of the juror summonses. Virginia has a place in statutory code provisions designed to ensure the person called for jury duty is the person arriving for jury duty. Fairfax juror questionnaire webpage, blah, 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 birth date. Safeguards are in place relied upon the parties to verify the identity and correct juror to ensure the due process and fair trial for all litigants. When these safeguards are circumvented or not followed, as appears to be the case here, the right to a jury trial and due process are undermined and compromised. Neither reps for Heard or Depp responded to Deadline's requests for comment on the filing. We are also attempting to contact Virginia Court for insight. While the particulars are way out there, the gist of Heard's move is no surprise. Almost within a minute of the $10 million plus verdict came down on June 1st in favor of an absent, he puts this in here, an absent Depp in Judge Penny Azcarati's courtroom. Heard's defense and $100 million countersuit team have promised to fight the ruling on appeal, facing having put up $8.3 million bond to move forward. Heard's team may have chopped off the financial Gordian knot with this apparent Keystone Cops-like incident. Boy, this guy's all over the place. I'm not even sure who, but this guy is all over court TV, predicting Depp's demise and very, very pro-Amber. And you can kind of tell by the article.
I'm happy he had the time to write this article, but as it states again in Virginia law, too late.
Again, and so that is. So where'd you see that, Sarah?
It's in the law on one of the, I think, Burkhart show. She put a screen grab up of the actual Virginia law, or I saw it on Twitter. I don't know. But yeah, can't do anything about it now.
This gentleman's name is Dominic Patton, and he has been up Depp's ass with Deadline and having, again, strange access to documents that nobody else had access to. That's how I got the stuff about the friends and family that owed him money. All the
Hmm.
paragraphs, from Bruce Witkin to Sal Jenko to James Russo to his sister, Debbie. I mean, Christy. Um, so that was nowhere to be found until Deadline excavated these, and I don't know what connections they have to these courts, but they have all the obscure shit. They're responsible for the Depp transcript we read last week
Hmm.
in the City of Lies trial, which I couldn't find anywhere else but there.
Yeah. Well,
And what are the odds that? So you're saying, isn't the bottom line is that this guy would vote differently than his father would? Is that
yeah,
what we're saying?
I would think they would prefer to have prefer to have the junior on the jury than the senior.
Wouldn't they
But
be in the same mentality? Wouldn't you say?
yeah, you'd think so.
You really think the son's going to vote differently than the father in this case?
Hmm.
It's such a strange, and, and then they're kind of pointed to some kind of conspiracy that they forged to get him to go say, "I'll do it for." It's almost like, didn't Gina Bobina had the thing about if you got community service, it would be like doing it for someone. So it's like someone serving jury duty for the other guy.
Hmm. Well, I'm going back to my last jury summons that I got in the mail. All it has is your name. It doesn't have any of your other personal information or, more identifying information. So if there is a junior and a senior living in the same at the same address, I see why, you could think if there's no junior or senior attached to the end of the name, I can see why you might think it's you as
Yeah,
opposed to your 70, whatever year old father. Especially if they don't check ID when you enter the door and nobody brings it up during the jury day, first day. They had the entire day to go through and pick all of these people and verify they were who they were.
that's right. I
Nobody
mean,
did that.
and then they say it in the article. In a trial of this magnitude, you don't think it's like triple verified everything. That was crazy security around there.
Hmm.
There was no way they didn't have their shit together for that. Cindy Lou Who writes, Amber is a petulant child. She hates that she lost and isn't being held up as the icon for the Me Too movement. Well, especially too after the UK trial, Cindy. I realized this one thing. Did you know the judge from the UK trial, took 4 months to come up with a decision?
Yeah.
Compared to, isn't that saying? And I
And
don't
then he
know if that,
vanished.
and then vanished, and then vanished. I remember that, and I don't know if if that's worse or better to come up with a quick decision or to think about it for 4 months about what your bottom line is, or there's all sorts of conspiracies with
Well, you
the
gotta,
legal system
you got
there.
4 months. You got to think hard on what your actual justification is for believing in her. So they give you Elon Musk Incorporated gives you the checklist of, what you need to write in this decision, but you got to spin it to make it believable and that it's going to hold up if somebody should appeal it. So you take advantage of that entire 4 months to come up with the story.
Well, speaking of speaking of fruit baskets, I want to go through. Uh,
Jesus.
Speaking of, well, in both trials, right? So the UK trial, Depp's team goes, because we didn't get to see it, we reenacted it. Goes, well, we didn't get to submit all this crazy, incriminating evidence, irrefutably incriminating evidence, which is we all know is very much true. And then he loses that. So it was 12 out of 15 cases, right? In the
14, I think.
12 out of 14.
Yeah. If
He's
there's two
found
that you
legal.
don't believe, if there's, let's say you believe everything, but there's one that you think she's lying, wouldn't that kind of negate the rest of them?
Yeah, right. What you'd think. You'd think. I got to go over exactly again. And then in Fairfax, Amber Heard's team says, "Oh, we didn't get to submit our incriminating, perfectly irrefutable evidence." It's
Yeah,
because
because the
she
data
lost.
was doctored.
Yes, and that's got to be the perfect. How many times do you think people use that excuse and they lose a trial?
Mhm.
We didn't get to submit our perfectly irrefutable evidence that would sink the trial. I bet you that's said every single time in cases like this.
Mhm.
Stop Baylor. Speaking of just stuttering, John. Where's the right wing? Where is the right wing to talk about the juror integrity photo ID? Pretty quiet about this when they want to stop the Me Too. Yeah, the Me Too. She's latched on to the Me Too movement has been again. I mean, I say this all the time. In a way, you need in order to ruin someone's life, we need a vetting process before you. And so Depp, uh, thankfully, had the money and resources and backing to fight this and say, this is how you meet, uh, this is a lesson to be learned. You better have your shit together because, I'm sure he's fully, well, cognizant of, you know, and when he is properly interviewed, he'll say, "At least I had them." And his lawyers have said it. So Chu and Vasquez has said, we had the money and resources to fight. And what we really feel sorry for is the guy who doesn't have
Yeah,
the resources to
he'd
fight
be in
this.
jail.
Would be in jail. And there's the jails are filled. How many people of guys that just had no hope of fighting this with any kind of legal team, even close to this? They're using
Well,
public
let's also
defenders and Dan
a
Fielding,
quick mention to
Mark
the
Post.
people that are jailed internationally for even less than a certain WNBA player is being held for, and there's no talk of getting them out.
Oh
So
yeah, right. With the
sorry,
right
I
the Brittany
went off
now the
track,
Brittany
but
Griner thing. There's two American which fugitives you call them or imprisoned in Russia that are do get no attention. One guy's
no,
for 10 years, and another guy was an actual basketball instructor. And the Brittany Griner was there because the WNBA doesn't pay enough money, and she's to supplement her income by playing in Russia. And I hate to say it, I'm not a huge. I'm certainly not the voice of capitalism in any way, but it's supply and demand. There's no audience for it. No one's watching. You don't get the same money as Damian Lillard. Brittany, sorry, you don't. There's no interest. It's not
there's a
fun to
reason.
watch. There's a reason you don't dunk.
I'd rather
It's
watch
not fun to
a
watch.
high school game.
A lot of people would, and they think that they should get equal pay for not equal interest or demand. It's not how it works. Sorry.
Hmm.
Like I can play feminist once in a while, but that's not an area where you do it. And it's not again, there's two because you play in the WNBA does not make you a better a more tragic fugitive.
Just wait until the NBA someday brings all these women players in to join teams because it's the right thing to do.
Her
They're
favorite
all
play
equal.
her favorite play is the scissor.
Oh,
I want David says I want celebs to be ID'd with their worst movies in article. So we interviewed Ed Harris of Milk Money fame. 1990. That probably is his worst movie. There's nothing funnier than when like a guy, dramatic actor has to do like a rom-com and you remember when Meryl Streep did that Roseanne movie? She Devil?
She-Devil, yeah.
Right? That's the one that comes to mind for me.
Horrifying.
All right, so let me get rid of this, and I will go to the next article. It's impossible to not do like a half-baked play-by-play when you're searching for. Okay, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, Chrome tab. Okay, so now this case. This came out was this yesterday. Amber Heard
Yeah.
now has this is an insurance claim where again this points back to who's paying for her legal fees, and now she's trying to double dip the insurance company and they're calling her on it. Sarah, I think you have a pretty good handle on this story. I'm going to read it.
Yeah, but just so you don't run into any issues while you're screen sharing, take the chat off. Sometimes it overloads StreamYard.
Okay.
We got too many things going on. Okay, so I guess I will give you the basics on this.
Just give us like a synopsis of before I read the.
Okay, there is a insurance company out of New York. I forget the name.
Is it called New York Marine?
Yes, I want to say New
Okay.
York Mutual.
It's
I knew
in the
that
article.
wasn't right.
No, it's in the article. I didn't just know.
Okay, so she filed.
Travelers is the other one, I guess, or
Yeah.
okay.
This is so convoluted.
It is convoluted. It gives you a headache.
She filed a claim to get them to pay part of the judgment, and they're saying no because it was proven that she was malicious in her intent to defame him in the op-ed. So it's revealed that Liberty Mutual paid in excess of $5 million to the Bredehoft Charlson whatever firm for her representation. Now, what this leads to eventually, and you'll get into the fine details in the article, but what this leads to is when Elaine said in her closing that she didn't pay the charities because she had been sued and had to pay $6 million, that was a lie. Her insurance company actually had paid that. She had paid very minimal for what, the total was. So that's another lie as to why she didn't pay the charities. So when Elaine said that, again, she knew it was a lie, and that is actually grounds for being reported to the bar.
Wow. And at her age, could you imagine having something like that?
Oh, I have a feeling she's just going guns out with this because she's probably retiring.
She's embarrassed. Well, she's also embarrassed. It's a public and global humiliation by how she handled that trial and the entire team. Not as much Rottenborn as much her. She's getting just eviscerated. It's got to be tough, and someone's got to represent her. And if you're a Depp head, you want someone like that with horrible optics and can't deliver, and it's kind of out of her element. It's not even her legal ballywick. And you should be happy. So we piss on Elaine and stuff, but we like that she's what she is. Do we want some phenomenal hotshot John O'Reilly attorney representing her?
No,
we want this.
The Liberty Mutual originally wanted Roberta Kaplan to represent Amber Heard. Had that happened, she probably would have won.
I know you're a big Robbie Cap fan.
Robbie K.
Robbie K. Said Hooper writes, succubus has to stay in the media as long as possible to avoid the yacht circuit and eventual marriage to a Turkish millionaire. Hooper, I honestly, there's always going to be someone.
Apparently, she's already got her yacht days behind her as a young 20-something. She already visited that circuit.
There's always some horny Turkish, as you said, Turkish billionaire or Japanese businessman that will bail her. I'm telling you, there's always some creep lurking that will.
She's getting money from somebody.
Very Lindsay Lohanian, right? Did Lindsay Lohan
she went to Dubai.
Right, that kind of shit.
She went to Dubai for a reason.
NA writes this. I like this idea. He writes, they should make it a 3-game series. It's 1-1 as of now. Deptford. That would be great. They got a third trial. I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Guns a-blazing. And I said the ultimate scenario. I said the Marvel what if we switched legal teams. How does this go? Chu and Camille for Amber, and Bredehoft and Rottenborn for Depp.
I think Depp has the power to just stand up mid-trial if he was represented by Elaine and just say, fuck this shit, I'm out, and just walk out.
Mr. Depp. I understand you hang out with Marilyn Manson. Is it true you disappeared for 3 days and left your kids alone while you went on a drinking and drug binge? Is it true you let your 14-year-old daughter live with a 24-year-old wigger on your compound, Mr. Depp? I'm doing a Ben Chu.
I was going to say that is blasphemous if that's Ben Chu. How dare you, sir?
That's how he talks. He's clean in all his video depositions. That's the exact cadence he does.
My life's mission now is to protect Ben Chu at all costs.
Boy, did he pick a perfect legal team. That's great judgment by Depp. Man, just the
I want to hire Brown Rudnick, and I can never afford him.
Everybody does. You know what? That's why she got promoted. You know what a promotion it was for that law firm. And just the biggest lesson to be learned from this whole thing. We've been preaching it on the we learn stuff. Unlike the Howard Stern show where you get stupider, I believe you get a little bit smarter by listening to the Deppening. And I think when you hire a lawyer, make sure they have optics. And I'm not talking about, you're attracted to the person. I'm talking about just straight up charisma, kind eyes. I trust this person. And that's what Depp did. You look at Camille, you look at Chu and the others. I trust these people. That's it. It's all that matters. It's not even about their ability. Herbert Arnold, welcome.
Whatever heights you bring our smarts to in this podcast, I put a knife in that tire and bring it down to the
Oh,
ground.
bullshit. I think you just brilliantly summarized this whole thing. You really did. That was really clear and concise that's exactly, I mean, no one could have done that better. This is a very
Yeah.
convoluted scenario, and I get a headache almost trying to think about it.
I can't understand everything about it because I am limited. So you got to just pick out the main parts and go from there. And you will, eventually clean up the mess for me.
Before I forget, I want to thank Sue Monster for all her kind words in our comment section.
Hmm.
She had a string of comments. She doesn't always join us live. You don't always have to join us live. Herbert Arnold, welcome.
Yes, you
Amber's
do.
insurance company suing her in federal court, claiming they aren't obligated to pay. Since yes, Herbert. We're going to read. I think it details it all in this article I'm about to read. Pablo Papano, welcome, sir. January 6th, boomers in jail with no bail. Okay, here we go. You see, it says LA Times. Rudd's Ghost. Welcome. Kevin Cowie, welcome. Elaine stands in front of a mirror every night wearing a long brown wig, singing, also doing a Camille Vasquez and Ms. Vasquez, and she calls herself Vasquez. Rudd's Ghost.
I gotta
Yeah,
say, I
Lindsay.
got a comment, a real life comment right now. If I get loopy here in a second, I'm sitting in my dining room, and pot is legal in Oregon. I do not smoke pot. My neighbors all around me smoke pot, and I am gagging on pot smoke right now. So my
Are you
apologies.
saying what I imply from that? You're getting a tropical contact high. Way down in Oregon, Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take it. So to tie in Tom Cruise, and we tie in John Stamos, who lived in the Eastern Columbia building with that song. Was one of the Tom Sizemore and John Stamos. I think Melvin tipped us off about that. Who knows where everybody lives?
Speaking of Melvin, did I say tire in the knife or knife in the tire?
Melvin
He
says
says I
tire in the
said
knife.
tire. You know what? I blame it on the pot. Okay. I probably did. I don't care.
Caroline Dillman, welcome. Hearts back to you, Carolyn Dillman. Welcome to the Deppening family. I don't know. I haven't seen you in the chat. And if I did, I'm sorry. I sometimes am too multitasking motherfucker and I don't see. But welcome, Carolyn, if we haven't properly thanked you for joining us. So here we go. I'm going to read this thing ad nauseum, not under protest. From the so I chose this one because it had the most information from Anusha Sakow, your favorite LA Times writer, staff writer,
Yes.
Sarah, as I know.
Yes. Absolutely.
Amber Heard is facing a legal battle on a new front, this time with her insurance company. New York Marine and General Insurance Company filed a lawsuit against Aquaman actor Friday in federal court, seeking to avoid having to pay Heard for unsuccessful defense, defamation lawsuit by ex-president John. The insurance company said in the lawsuit that it doesn't believe it has an ongoing obligation to defend Heard. Another insurance company is also providing coverage to Heard. Quote, an actual controversy has now arisen. It now exists between the plaintiff on the other hand and Heard on the other hand with regard to duties and obligations owed between the plaintiff and Heard under the policy indemnity for her actions in the Depp case. Okay, New York Marine said in its complaint. James Wagoner, attorney for the New York Marine, declined to comment. A spokesman for Heard declined to comment on Saturday. Another insurance company, Travelers Commercial Insurance, has spent and continues to spend substantial sums for Heard's defense under a homeowner's insurance policy it provided in 2018. How do you have homeowners insurance if you don't own a home? According to court filings, it now pursuing New York Marine for its share of the costs. It's like Isaac Baruch having a homeowner's insurance, right, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
The New York Marine complaint lodged in the U.S. District Court in California on Friday is the latest potential legal challenge for Heard. It comes a little more than a month after the verdict in the drawn-out, highly publicized trial before a jury in Virginia to decide the merits of Depp's claim that Heard had defamed him and Heard's countersuit. The trial involved weeks of contentious testimony, including Heard's graphic allegations of sexual violence during their marriage. Depp denied Heard's allegations, of course. In 2019, Depp brought a $50 million libel case over Heard's ex-wife 2005, and op-ed piece in the Washington Post in which Heard described a public figure, blah, 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 maintained that it was clear that he was a subject of the essay. Depp won 3 claims against Heard, while Heard won of the 3 claims brought against Depp in her $100 million countersuit. Now, her insurance company says it does not believe it has to pay Heard on the policy, which provided liability protection up to $1 million. So Dr. Evil shit right there. The lawsuit said the insurance company had written a policy for Heard in 2019. The plaintiff contends it has no duty to defend Heard based on the California Insurance Code 533. The insurance company said in its complaint, the state code provides that an insurer is not liable for a loss caused by the willful act of the insured. The lawsuit. The insurer said it had initially advised Heard it would provide a legal offense, but under California law, it did not have to provide an indemnity for her actions. The jury's factual findings established that Heard's liability is caused by a willful act of Heard's New York Marine and General Insurance Company's suit said. She has incurred at least $6 million in attorney fees. According to this testimony in the Virginia defamation trial earlier this year, Travelers sued New York Marine now for an equitable contribution toward defense expenses, according to filings in a 2021 U.S. District Court in California. Travelers said in its complaint that New York Marine should have to pay at least half of its defense costs. Homeowners policy Travelers issued to Heard in 2018 includes covered or potentially covered damages because of defamation and promised a defense to any lawsuit seeking such damages, according to the complaint. At issue is whether New York Marine is liable for costs associated with an independently appointed defense counsel for Heard versus one appointed by the insurance company, and whether New York Marine will be liable for any award made against Heard. New York Marine denied some of the allegations and countersued now, according to the court filings. This case was stayed pending the resolution of defamation case. Spokespeople for Travelers did not respond to requests for comment. Wow, there's a lot to unpack there. I'm getting a little sick of people saying that.
Now, I apologize. I had to step away for about a good 10 seconds if you mentioned it. But one detail that came out too is Elaine. I'm hearing myself here. Sorry.
You sound good.
All right.
You're not echoing on my end at all.
Okay. Anyway, Elaine had a cap. Liberty Insurance capped off what they were going to spend at $2.5 million. They weren't going to go a penny over that. So Elaine blew through that $2.5 million a year before this trial even started. So by the time the trial was over, it was over $5 million.
Yeah, and I'd heard initially that Depp, the number that kept getting thrown around with Depp's was $7 million that he spent, and we all know he did, on his team. So it seems to be in that range of what they're spending. Now, the Elon Musk thing comes into play where we all feel that he paid for it. Everybody feels that he did. And she's double dipping the insurance, claiming that she's out, and it's almost like reporting somebody else pay, she's claiming she has to be reimbursed money somebody else gave her. So she's double dipping from the insurance company, and they're calling her on it.
This is what she does.
Yeah.
She double dips. She got $7 million from him. She said she had to use that on attorney's fees. She never did. So she got that.
And the ACLU stuff, it's very in line with that.
He's a simp. So he went ahead and he, donated in her honor almost $1 million to the charities for her. You can't tell me the truth. What she stated on the stand was the truth, where she said, yes, but I never intended for that to go toward the balance that I owed. Yes, you did.
And this all includes the luxury rental, the security she has, the transportation, the all the things she's, I guess, witnesses, the Dr. Spiegel and Dr. Hughes, and all this is all under that umbrella of, and they're coming up with and so we'll see where this goes.
It also kind of gives you a clue as to why her witnesses were so janky compared to his, because they couldn't go over a certain amount, I'm sure.
I also think she doesn't have judgment. I don't think she has good people skills. I don't think she has any kind of intuition to figure out who looks credible. And she can't, when you have dead, soulless eyes, you're going to bring in people who also have dead, soulless eyes and who are unconvincing, just like she is on the stand. You are who you hang with. So she brings in people that she feels represents her and embodies what she is, and that's an unconvincing succubus. And you can see it in the eyes. And she brings in people like Hughes and the Spiegel, and her witnesses are all dead in the eye, the dead-eyed kind of Coachella grifter squad she hung out with. Right? You are who you hang with.
Yeah.
And all Depp's witnesses are very likable and have this strange embody his charisma in some capacity. So I almost don't even know if it's money as much as just her horrible judgment in every way, shape, and form.
Mm-hmm. Just a warning too. If we are in the middle of a reading and I have to step away for a second, I'll let you know. I got to answer the door. Amazon is 9 stops away. I'm just letting you know.
Gunga Din just caught my half-baked Phil Donahue impersonation. I don't know if I was probably channeling him and not even aware I was doing it, but I know exactly that sing-songy thing Donahue does where he comes in at the end. He goes, "Now, New York Marine General Insurance Company filed a lawsuit against the Aquaman star." And then he throws the microphone. Is that the cadence I came off? That's so funny, Gunga
Yeah.
Din. That observation.
Mackie
Sa-
says Elaine blew her bread on blow. I think Elaine blew her bread on that great hairdo that really complimented her beautiful cheekbones during the trial. It looked like
no,
she paid $3 for that.
she blew her bread on actual banana bread. I think she's just a Minnesota mom who just makes bread all day. I
Ugh.
don't think she is. She knows as much about the cocaine world as I do, maybe less, if that's possible.
Do you think she billed
Right,
by the
AC?
hour when she was standing in front of the mirror practicing how to say cunt?
And Ms. Vest, like you would think, all the prep they did for this trial, you would pronounce Vasquez. You
Hmm.
wouldn't pronounce Vasquez, which almost sounds subtly racist. It's just like this Virginia wasp, and she just can't be bothered to pronounce the Hispanic's name properly. She just says Vasquez. And who
It's
throws a W
Minnesota.
in Minnesota? In the
The
Maryland,
Minnesota, how you oh my God, you interact with Hispanic folks in Minnesota. You say their name incorrectly.
That's exactly right. And she got other people saying it. It was
Yeah.
infectious. There were other people in her tribe that were saying Vasquez because they thought it was the right way to say it. Camille never even. I thought Camille at some point would go, Miss Bredehoft, it's Vasquez, it's Vasquez.
She should
And
have.
I know. I thought she couldn't be bothered. Okay. So I wanted to our new friend who just chimed in said it's a third time. Caroline Dillman says, "I'm new, but I've caught 3 so far." Again, welcome, Carolyn. Welcome,
Mhm.
welcome. She's caught 3 of them.
I love new folks in the chat.
I do too.
I think we do great for the topic we cover with viewers. I wish
I,
more
I go for
would be able to
quality
join
over
us live.
quantity. Quality over quantity, in my
Of
opinion.
course.
And everybody's quality in that chat. Everybody.
I would love if they could join us live.
We weren't always doing this live. I think we've done the live things only. Would you say 50% of? We
Our first
weren't.
live was the day one, the jury selection day of the trial.
We were trying to get our shit together before we went live with the multitasking stuff, trying to get the nuances of StreamYard.
You also have to hit certain marks before live is of any benefit to you. So
Yeah. Affy, welcome. Welcome, sir. I didn't see you slip in there. I think I said Rude's Ghost. I think we're caught up on everybody. I might have missed some. That's Sunflower Dragon. Welcome. I want to thank you and Melvin for tag teaming on a thing I'm about to play. Artie Lang's Biggie Smalls Quincy Jones story. So thanks to Sunflower Dragon reminding me and Melvin tracking down the audio of Artie's story. So I have that as well. So now I just want to go play. Let's go to that now. You want to go to that now, Sarah?
you do whatever you want.
Okay. So this is as we segue into the City of Lies, Depp versus Brooks assault trial, which I believe is going to be going on July 26th. Is that the day? 24th,
25th, I
26th,
thought.
25th? That one of those 3 days, 24th, 25th, 26th. And this has been lingering for a few years now. And as we did a City of Lies special. We talked about Tupac Shakur and obviously the notorious B.I.G. and his mom and stuff. And Sunflower Dragon brought up Artie had a story about when he was on Mad TV. Quincy Jones is the boss. Not, I wouldn't say Lorne Michaels, but he was running the show. I think he owned Mad TV.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, Artie tells a story about how he was driving around with Quincy Jones, and Quincy Jones predicted the Tupac Biggie drama. And thank you, Sunflower, and thank you, Melvin, for finding the actual audio, because I forgot about it. I probably could have tracked it down, but Melvin directed me right to it. I'm almost positive it was Melvin that did.
Okay.
It could have been someone else. I apologize if it's somebody else. I'm trying to recount because it was weeks ago when I called this out.
Your boyfriend at the Packer game, and she goes,
Is that too loud, Sarah? Sarah, you with me?
Yes, play it again.
Tupac was winning the Packer game, and she
No, I think it's
Tupac
fine.
Shakur. She's for 4.
Okay, the audio was like a little tinny, I remember, so it might be good if I amplified it, because I did the old screen recording thing.
Well, just pay attention to chat. They'll let you know.
Okay.
4 hours. Your boyfriend at the Packer game, and she goes, Tupac was winning the Packer game.
By the way, this is very. So you heard morose art last time we played Artie on Thursday again during the what the hell was it for? He feels that Depp got him the job on Howard, and when Depp came on, Artie was really spot on during the interview. It was funny and engaging and the whole thing, and Depp loved him, and so their chemistry. Artie feels that Depp's the chemistry the two of them had got him the Stern job. One of the main reasons. Anyway, that was slowed down subtext. Depressed Artie. This is sped up. This is complete. This is a bipolar Artie you're getting on these two different
Of course.
shows. This is the opposite.
Tupac was winning the Packer game, and she was dating Tupac Shakur. She talked to Tupac Shakur.
Get the fuck out.
I go, you're making plans in Bel Air with a fag. But we get in the limousine to go to the thing. And you can tell I'm excited. You know, he's like, hey, I remember this first time, too. I'm like, oh, shit.
Maybe Quincy had fucking Tupac shot for fucking his daughter.
I gotta tell you one thing. He didn't seem thrilled about it. He was the fucking editor of Vibe magazine. John, my hand to God. I'm in the limo with him.
His daughter is Rashida Jones, if anybody knows, and she's an actress. She's been in a bunch of stuff. She's mostly known for The Office. Was she in Parks and Rec too? She might have been in both. But
I don't know.
She's got a very cute broad, very light-skinned bitch, biche, and very, for someone who grew up with an iconic, super rich dad, she's pretty. You could be down to earth. She seems pretty well adjusted, if you could possibly be so. Anyway, that's who she's talking. That's who Artie's talking about. Rashida Jones.
Tupac and Biggie are on the cover 8 months before whichever one died first. Tupac, right? Whichever one died. And you realize something.
You see that Artie's little subtle racism there. He goes, I don't know, whichever one's died. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like they all look the same to you, don't they, Lang?
Do we have any updates on him, by the way?
Artie?
Yeah, he disappeared again.
I have the last thing I saw, and I could be slightly out of the loop. He's exhausting trying to keep up with this saga.
I know. It's wash, rinse, repeat.
Walking to St. Louis. Anyway, he some dude, an Asian dude who had a cooking show, posted an interview with him, but I think it was from a while ago. But he just posted it now.
Yeah,
like
I think it's a year
interview.
old. I think it's at least a year old.
And it was like a cooking or a foodie show.
I know. I remember seeing the thumbnail. I didn't even care to watch it.
Quincy goes to his daughter who's dating him. Out loud says this. The motherfuckers both gonna be dead in a year. He goes, I tried to get out of this shit. Sinatra and me got the fuck away from guys with guns. What the fuck are they doing? He goes, it's bullshit. And he goes, and Tupac's just a bougie fucking grew up in Baltimore with like a liberal arts, which is kind of driven. That motherfucker was at that motherfucker what was it, Punky Brewster's birthday.
You get what he's saying here, Sarah? I guess
No.
Tupac grew up in like a much more privileged environment than he wants.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's playing gangster in a way. He's appealing to the gangster East Coast, West Coast, but he didn't actually. And he's from Baltimore, which you assume, oh, Baltimore's that rough, like The Wire, that rough hood of Baltimore, where it's very, downtrodden area. And he's actually from a bougie, I already says, area of Baltimore. And Quincy Jones confirms. I mean, this is what Quincy Jones is saying. That Tupac is actually from an affluent family. So the kind of, thing, and Biggie is not. Biggie wasn't. I mean, Biggie's mom did. I think she was a nurse and a teacher, so he was okay, but he had no dad, and it was way worse. And when he grew up in a really bad neighborhood, Bed-Stuy in the fucking 80s is about as bad as it gets. It's like if you were a cop, a newly hired cop in the NYPD, that's where they put you to start. I was reffing a basketball tournament a few summers ago, and a retired cop, really cool black guy, is like in his mid 50s, and he was one of the coaches of the team. I was talking to him about his career in the NYPD. He says, when I first started out, they threw me in Bed-Stuy, and I was 20 something. He's like, it was the worst of the worst. He was giving me stories from the 80s and stuff, and he said, that's where you go. You're not going to get the desk job. It's the most risk. It's crazy shit, and you get the overnight shift, and that's what Biggie grew up on. It's like one of the worst areas of New York in the 80s.
I bet he doesn't beat Idana, Oregon.
What's that?
No, keep going. I'm sorry. Stupid.
No,
That's so funny, dude.
Quincy Jones goes, thug laugh, motherfucker.
That is the best. Dude,
Okay.
I think if you took that fucking light and swept it over anybody's life, you'd find some fucking
He
bullshit
was
like
the best
that.
guy of all time. Now, my father's dead. I'm like, when I see my father in the
I'm sorry, guys. I honestly don't know who he's talking to here. It sounds like it could be Bill Burr. It sounds like it could. I don't know who that is. I can't because of the echo. I can't track the voice.
He needs to be careful if he's talking to Bill Burr. If he says anything bad or even
his wife is
slightly,
black. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I like the Bill Burr as pro
I used
struggle,
to.
though. He's a great comedian. There's no question about it.
like a black guy became you. I got my own shower, and then I got okay. Quincy Jones has this, I guess. And his daughter Rashida is the sweetest person.
Oh my God.
By the way, Bill Burr, big Depp defender at a time when it wasn't fashionable to do so. He was on the front lines in 2017 with his buddy Stanhope. Depp has met Bill Burr when Depp was kind of not in a good place, and Stanhope was with him, and they were going to the Comedy Store. Depp actually did a set at the Comedy Store with Stanhope.
Okay.
Did you know that? He jumped on stage, and there's also the guy, he passed away, this comedian Brody Stevens, tweeted.
Okay.
He used to do the warm up for a lot of. He's a really good comedian. He committed suicide. Again, it's that age of 50 that Rich Jenny did. He sadly committed suicide, and he tweeted, this is way before, that he met Depp. He's like, met Johnny Depp tonight at the Comedy Store. Great guy. Let me see if I can find the tweet.
Okay, hold on. Chat's saying that it's loud.
Oh, it's too loud. Okay. I thought
Yeah,
so.
I can't tell. I have weird headphones in for this tablet.
Okay, so it's muffling sound. I'll play it after the Brody Stevens. Johnny Depp. Let's see if the tweet comes up. I saw it. I was like, whoa. Damn it. I'm not seeing it. I thought it would come up quicker. Tweet. Johnny Depp.
And I know, Melvin, 6 stops away, and my naked pizza delivery guy will be here.
Yeah, Sarah, that's what I wanted to ask. Can you see the chat on your
I have to go back. This tablet sucks. I hate using this
Can
tablet.
you see it though? Can you?
Yeah, I have to go back. I have to switch tabs, and it's weird. Anyway, yes, I can.
Okay. Let me go back. I mean, so I hope. I'm trying to lower this a little bit.
God, and fucking.
I
so
weasel
cool.
my way onto a private jet. He was a Sinatra generation, Quincy, right?
Yeah.
So I was, because I had to go to rehab the first fucking year, because I owed that. Quincy wouldn't let me get fired. He goes, man, you a funny cat, man. He goes, Miles Davis had a problem. Like, Miles
I
Davis.
love that. I love that.
City guy. And he goes, beat the Pierre tomorrow fucking noon. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, how you getting to LA tomorrow? I'm like, I'm flying in a plane. He goes, fuck that, man. Cancel that shit. I'll pay for the ticket. We got the wings. The wings. Wings attached to wings.
Yeah.
And it's me, Quincy Jones, his other daughter, Cadita, with Peggy Lipton, the other mulatto chick, was talking to her boyfriend, talking about the difference in life. I'm on a private jet for the first time. I'm 27, making $8,000 a week doing a thing.
Out of rehab.
I got to go to rehab because because of blow, and taking a swing at a cop.
yeah.
And Tyson didn't win. And he likes it. Man, I thought Tyson won that too, but shit, man. Really talk like that. He gets me in a limousine. This actually happened. I'm at the Pierre Hotel half an hour before he says to me, I get in a limousine with him, his daughter Kadita, some business guy, a white guy, whatever, a white broad he's fucking who's 23. They all had probably like, and fucking kiddies are like this too. They ran out to look at us because they were our age. Like Quincy would come with a white chick, smoking hot, not allowed to look at us. Like, looking down. And,
wow.
He invited us to a club where we're at his table.
How old were his daughters?
Rashida is the one from Parks and Recreation. Katrina is the older one.
But at the time,
at the time she was 29, and
so he's with his daughters with chicks younger than his fucking daughters.
I'm gonna say they were maybe
the same age,
pretty much.
What a fucking animal!
And then the chick he's fucking gets up to use the bathroom. Again, this is a culture thing. He gets up to use the bathroom, and he says, "Are you gonna water your Lily?" I'm like, "Lily? What's I got a pussy, I guess." Right in front of his daughter. I had a bet on the Packer Cowboy NFC Championship game. As we get higher up, I lose the game. And Kadita, so I'm gonna call my boyfriend. He's in Bel Air. I'm making plans for the night. She paid $4,000 phone calls for 4 hours, and I felt like she wanted to talk to me. I wanted who won the Packer. Can you ask your boyfriend at the Packer game? And she goes,
Is there any Artie story that doesn't have gambling involved? It always is the catalyst for every story. There's a gamble. It's always he lost a bet. It's the Utah Jazz and the Bulls. It's the Packers. It's always a gambling story, punctuating everything.
I know. See, other than your interview that you did with him, I haven't heard him in, of anything, of a worthy length. Shut up, Melvin, with that quote. But since 2009, when he left the show, I realized I'm still burned out on him and his stories, and I don't know.
Thank you, Sunflower Dragon. Thank you for and thank you for this audio. I've been looking at this, and well, you know what, Sarah, he almost fits in with a different version of what we say about Howard. He's been laying low so long, he doesn't really have new life experiences. So the stories, and you don't really know what a lie or an embellishment is for comedic effect. Is anymore with him, but he's
I think the worst thing that happened to Artie on the Stern Show was in the early days, Howard laughed at everything he said. Yeah. So he took that as a cue that, this is what Howard wants, so I'm going to ramp it up. Oh, God.
At the same time of that, if you listen to some Artie interviews, he was actually shackled in a way because he and Howard have very little in common. So Artie's a big sports fan, and there's a lot of just things he's into that Howard has no clue. So if you think about it, you're probably only getting 50% of what Artie really is. The real Artie was on the Nick and Artie show right after that, when he gets to just free will. Like he would make I think his story is, he'd make a Barry Larkin reference, and Howard would just fall. Or he would say it, he goes, "Oh God, this guy really knows nothing about sports." So that takes out, a huge swath of his repertoire, because Howard's a fruit basket, as it were.
Alleged.
Artie's party with that. I don't think there's anything else.
Tupac was winning the Packer game. And she was dating Tupac Shakur. She talked to Tupac Shakur.
Get the fuck out.
I go, you're making plans in Bel.
So apparently Rashida Jones is dating Tupac, huh? I didn't realize that.
She paid $4,000 phone calls for 4 hours, and I felt like she wanted to talk to me. I wanted who won the Packer. Can you ask your boyfriend at the Packer game? And she goes, Tupac, who's winning the Packer game? And she was dating Tupac Shakur. She talked to Tupac Shakur.
Get the fuck out.
Kevin Cowrie writes, Tupac was actually a theater kid. I remember hearing that too. He was in a lot of movies in the 90s. Wasn't he? He was in a string of was he like really good friends with Mickey Rourke? And AJ Benza has a Tupac story where he's
Poetic Justice.
Yes. What was the basketball movie? Shit. Above the Rim? In like 1996.
Was he in that?
That song. Remember that song Regulate? By Warren G.
Nate Dogg and Warren G.
Yeah, they use the Michael McDonald song. I keep forgetting. I like that song, Regulate. It's one of my favorite rap songs. It's I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure. I just love that song. The rhythm is the bass, and the bass is the treble.
Oh my
Wow,
god.
like, are you making plans in Bel Air? What a fag. But we get in the limousine to go to the thing. And you can tell I'm excited. You know, he's like, hey, I remember this first time, too, man. I'm like, oh, shit.
Maybe Quincy had fucking $2 shot for fucking his daughter.
I gotta tell you one thing. He didn't seem thrilled about it. He was the fucking editor of Vibe magazine. John, my hand to God. I'm in the limo with him.
So, I'm sorry, Sarah?
It's an automatic lie. When anybody, especially Artie, says hand to
Swear
God.
life of my kids, hand to God, life of my kids. Yeah, there's all sorts. We gotta make a list of all those. What would you call it? Disclaimer. The how would you categorize that as a disclaimer or oh god, when you say life of my kids, hand to God, all those cliche, all those I'm telling the truth.
I know what you mean, but I can't think of it.
Overcompensating cliches.
Yeah.
You gotta make a list
Tupac
of
and
that.
Biggie are on the cover. 8 months before.
Qualifiers.
Okay, yeah.
And you realize I'm telling you, woo.
Affy writes, I hate stand-up comedy, and a lot of people saying, you know what, Affy?
I
think
do.
of,
Any career that Brendan Schaub excels in, I have no respect for.
well, there's no quality control. Anybody can seemingly do it, right? If you just, it's a gimmick. It's like somebody. There's no best, right? There's no. It's
Well,
not
apparently
like
anybody can
sports
get a
where there's-
Showtime special too. Speaking of Schaub.
That's another thing, right? And Netflix and Jackson Delabate will greenlight that as well. I think I feel like, Affy, that we've heard everything that can be said at this point. Like, you can't do anymore. I think that actual art form or that format is now very dated, and I don't think you can deliver. I think it's inefficient. I think comedy can be packaged in a better way, and that is like somebody was saying in the chat loud Thursday. It's artificial. It's like going to a sitcom taping. You know when you're supposed to laugh. It's very artificial. It's very and comedians have this thing, this hubris, this arrogance, this fake altruism of where they're doing us a favor by making us laugh. Really, I need you to make me laugh. You don't. It's for you. You need to get up in front of people every night because you're an attention whore and you want to get laid and you want to be famous. You want to get. Stop acting like you're doing me a favor. You could care less about making me laugh. It's the last thing. You want to get laid from being famous and using comedy as the conduit to doing so. You want money from it. You want to be. There's nothing to do with. There's no nobility in it. It's for you and your attention whore. That's for you.
Well,
it's not for me.
If you haven't experienced real comedy until you've heard a joke about rolling up your T-shirt to squeegee your manjis off your stomach into your pubes. I think every comic should do that.
I feel like everybody else did. It's just very, it's very strained now. It's as the cliche goes, jump the shark, perhaps. The medium.
You don't know that reference, do you?
who
that squeegee joke?
Oh no, I didn't. What's the reference to? I didn't catch it.
That's Stuttering John's closer.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the chat will concur that I believe America is still falling in love with Stuttering John, just like the audience for I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here fell in love with John then, and we're still falling in love with him all over again.
I heard it. I don't want to go down this route. Believe me, too many people talk about him now, but one of the saddest things I've ever heard was him. He goes back and watches his sizzle reel like once a week and relives the glory days. That's sad. Okay.
Yeah, Kevin Cowie's right. Aren't you getting a little tired of comedians complaining about the cancel culture now is what they grab onto, that the only way they're going to beat the cancel culture, and the only way to get the truth is to see them, and the cancel. There's nothing worse than comedians whining about the cancel culture.
Yeah.
God damn it, is that fucking.
Especially in LA.
Awesome. Yeah, especially in LA.
Those are the vilest group of comics I've ever heard. They're Joe Rogan crew.
No, they're just fame posers, right? Fame whore posers who are just latching on to. I know exactly what you're talking about. Brian Callen and that whole thing. I know. Has Rogan acknowledged these guys? Right, all these guys I used to do a show all the time that have been Me Too'd.
I don't think he's acknowledged D'Elia or Callen yet.
Wow, they were like on the show like once every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, there's a friend.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Quincy goes to his daughter who's dating him. out loud says this. The motherfucker's both gonna be dead in a year. He goes, I tried to get out of this shit. Sinatra and me got the fuck away from guys with guns. Remember what the fuck are they doing? He goes, it's bullshit. And he goes, and Tupac's just a bougie fucking grew up in Baltimore with like a liberal arts, was just kind of driven.
Okay. So now we're gonna go to I want to play a little bit of the director of City of Lies, who we had a Patreon show that was effed with, and I never really got to. I just want to play a little bit of this, and I'm not going to play that.
I want to give you an update on that. Somebody reported it.
How do you know?
So somebody who had the link, I think, was fucking with us and reported it.
Which you could easily do to anybody at any point. I don't know if what would you? I don't know. What a lame. You talk about punching down our little fucking Patreon.
I know.
Niche. God damn it, get a life.
That's all right. We're gonna have something up.
It's great publicity. We're now the martyr of.
By the way,
of the
again,
cancel culture.
I don't want anybody to think that's going to sit there in limbo while we, take your money. We're going to have something up this week. I'm going to force Arm to record something.
I have so many compilations. I think the Chauncey Hayden SEC thing is worth the price.
I agree, but I think we should put something with Depp on there eventually.
Yeah. I will go back and forth and just throw. I mean, it's a very Stern-centric crowd, so whatever they like. I'm a people pleaser in that way.
Had met Johnny Depp, and I forgot some others. I'm sorry, but I must say your casting is always amazing. So it is you, like you said. Hey, I have.
Again, this is Brad Furman, the director of City of Lies, and he comes up in the transcript. He's part of the lawsuit. Let's us forget, Brad Furman, one of the producers, is also part of, and Depp are part of the lawsuit with Brooke. It's not just Depp. He's in this too, because he created a dangerous environment, according to Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
The story I want to tell, so I would like to work with this talent, or it is more of the studio choice, or maybe both.
No, I always love to give credit to the actors for the performance, but no, all those choices.
Before I get on, Gina Bobina writes, Artie Huber writes, Artie was funny in the early days, quickly became a broken record. Artie's funny as hell. Shtick back. Gina Bobina writes, Artie has outlived people twice as healthy. It's the strangest thing. The Constitution, Gina, is in fact crazy. And you think about, we have talked about the deaths in pop culture in the last bunch of couple of weeks, and all pretty beloved people: James Caan, Ray Liotta, Tony Sirico from The Sopranos, and Tony Siragusa from the Baltimore Ravens, football player, who is Hall of Fame football player. Every one of these guys, fittingly, Gina, oddly, maybe ironically, have ties to Artie. Tony Siragusa is a good friend of Artie's. They did some comedy bits together. Siragusa had a thing with Fox. They did a DirecTV. Siragusa was a guest on Artie's show. Siragusa was a guest on the Stern Show. Artie and him had become friends. I think Siragusa is from Jersey. He's a very Artie-like persona and personality. And they became friends, and I don't know if they were in contact during Artie's dark days, but they were very good friends for a while. Siragusa passed away. James Caan I forgot about this. Sarah, you on there now? James Caan, I think Sarah stepped away to get I think she said she was going to get the package delivered on. James Caan was in Elf. I completely forgot about that. And Artie had that great cameo appearance in Elf where he plays Santa Claus. So I think they might have been slightly in contact. If I know, and interestingly enough, too, when we play the James Caan stuff on Thursday, his last Stern appearance during the Marcy era, and I'm surprised he even got on at that point. Caan never mentions Artie during that. I would almost thought. I think I listened to the whole thing. Caan might have been coached before he went on to not bring Artie up, because Caan knew Artie from Elf, and I can't see Caan listening to their directives at all. But it's very bizarre that he didn't come up during that whole thing. Tony Sirico was friends with Artie just because those Soprano guys would hang around the outskirts of, and again, Artie's from an area with, and Artie thinks he's on the show and stuff. So they were kind of chummy as well, along with Sharippa. And Artie, okay. So Ray Liotta does not have a per se relationship with Artie, but he's from the same fucking high school in the same town of Union, New Jersey that Artie is. And if you listen to Ray Liotta's cadence, he has the exact same cadence Artie does, and it's from the same. He played baseball like Artie did in high school. So he's 10 years older, 10, 12 years older than Artie is. So it's bizarre that every one of those guys has some weird kind of tertiary connection to Artie. Did you catch any of that, Sarah?
I was addressing my Amazon issue. No,
Every
I did
one
not.
of the deaths in the last, Tony Saragusa, the football player,
Yeah,
friends with Artie.
Raven. Ugh.
Rice, Raven. Speaking of Baltimore, James Caan in Elf with Artie. Was James Caan in the Will Ferrell department store scene when Artie plays Santa Claus? I can't remember anymore.
I don't
By the
remember.
way, Jon Favreau directed that. And Ray Liotta is from the same fucking high school Artie is in Union.
Okay.
Which is crazy. And Tony Sirico is just friends with him because that whole Jersey Sopranos connection, and they just kind of that Sirico had been on the Stern Show a couple times, and it was a very, very controversial thing where I believe Vincent Pastore reveals Howard cheated on Allison on the set in private parts.
Oh yeah.
Is it Gina Lynn?
Mm-hmm.
Sarah, you had me go after that audio. We're gonna play that on Thursday.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I remember doing that. Yeah. So that's crazy. So back to Brad Furman, the director of City of Lies.
Those are mine. Yeah.
Big choices. Big choices.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to make City of Lies unless I had Johnny playing Russ Poole, and I knew that was a very lofty goal. But I felt that was the right way to approach the material.
Big choices.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry, Mr. Furman. Did you say Russell Poole or Commissioner Gordon?
I didn't want to make City of Lies unless I had Johnny playing.
Look at that. Look at that. Is that Jim Gordon? Is that Commissioner Gordon? Right?
Mhm.
Look at that, Sarah. Look at that.
Yes.
God damn it, they need to cast him. Oh my God. I always thought Bryan Cranston would have been Commissioner Gordon too.
But just as long as Pattinson isn't Batman, I'm good.
Oh, I know. Well, Batman, I think they missed it. I think Hollywood missed out, and I don't know if it's his fault or whatever. John Hamm is Bruce Wayne. I mean, that's just forget
If
it.
you're doing an older Batman, absolutely.
Well, he could have been. I mean, Bruce Wayne's not necessarily young. He's like perpetually 38 years old. And there was a time when John Hamm is he doesn't even have to try. I was watching Mad Men once, and he was walking on a rooftop with Maggie Siff, and it looked like Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle at a Gotham ball. I mean, I was just like, it was a no-brainer. It's like, that's Batman. Case closed, cast him, sign it up, send him on a 10-picture deal. It's not even that's Bruce Wayne. They can't. It's unbelievable how easy that is to get. Alec Baldwin in the 90s, perfect Bruce Wayne. Perfect.
I agree.
Russ Poole.
And he was a Burton. He was in Beetlejuice, oddly enough.
I knew that was a very lofty goal, but I felt that was the right way to approach the material. I think the only time it was and wasn't my choice was the fact that Matthew McConaughey had been involved in the Lincoln Lawyer. Yeah.
So, Brad, City of Lies is a movie that I have waited for years, talk about the investigation, the case of Christopher Wallace, the notorious B.I.G.
It's so funny, that French-American accent talking about all of the hip-hop stuff. It's just so,
Howard back in the day taught me to fear the French accent, and the German accent. So I still kind of have that in the back of my mind.
Melvin asked, chat, my guest Sarah, you ordered a large sausage pizza. What say you?
No, it was a large sausage. No, I'm just kidding. Melvin, whoever said that, was it Hooper? Sorry, I'm getting back to chat.
It was Melvin.
Or somebody was saying I have a pizza delivery coming. No, I do not. I had to order a screwdriver for my glasses. It's so not romantic.
Oh, the mini screwdriver. You can get that at like a 99-cent store.
I know, but I'm lazy.
The mini screwdriver is actually a very important tool every household should have.
I now have one.
Every computer, every laptop has the thing, and then I use this all the time. I got your mini screwdriver right here.
Most iconic hip hop artist ever, with Tupac, of course, because Tupac is an absolute legend. And I remember the first time I heard about this movie was back in 2017 when, you know, the Tupac movie All Eyes on Me was released, and I was thrilled about it. I say, oh, next year we're gonna get a movie about Biggie Small investigation. Finally.
Melvin actually brings up a good point. Arm, the cancel culture thing is whining. The whining about the cancel culture is a very recycled Stern bit. He cannot do the show unless the FCC or someone stopping him from doing his show. And this whole show is him whining about not being able to. And Melvin, an absolute daily show promotion for the move to Sirius, because that's all that was a Sirius infomercial. And when he got to Sirius, is nothing worse than Howard cursing. There's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than the forced. I honestly believe terrestrial is better than Sirius. And when I go back and I listen to,
Absolutely.
I don't think it's close. And I'm talking about the early. Everyone thinks, oh, the first years of Sirius. There was some good moments. Whatever. Fuck that. The terrestrial shows, it's not even close. It's not even collectively, not even close. And I've
it's also nothing
of
beats for me. Nothing beats even up to like 2000 when Jackie. 2000, yeah, when Jackie left.
Yeah,
Jackie was my favorite. Nothing will ever beat that. That's also why I'm not a huge fan of Artie. I've always viewed Artie as, really, you are replacing Jackie.
No, I'm an Artie fan. It was a different dynamic.
He's fine. It's just, it was never Jackie to me.
Here's what would have been great: Artie and Jackie on the same show, and Jackie writing for Artie. Right?
It's fine
Both.
with me.
Why can't you have them both?
What ruined Jackie for me was your interview with Jackie. It's like, it's the same thing with Stuttering John. Don't ever meet your heroes.
I don't know. I think Jackie comes off pretty good. I think he's a much better rock on tour storyteller than the show ever gave him credit for. I love when he just riffs and tells stories. I think he's excellent at that. Honestly.
I love Jackie, but I even liked John when he was on the show.
Yeah, John's one of the Mount Rushmore of Stern. Absolutely.
Of course, absolutely. That was the greatest era ever. But Jackie is still heads and tails above John, in my opinion, as of what they are today. Right. So you will never hear me, say anything bad about Jackie. But I'm just comparing him to John. Anyway, I'm rambling, so let's.
Alan Menken, good friend of mine, David, says Brendan. Welcome, Brendan.
And with Johnny Depp in playing Detective Russell Poole. But then, unfortunately, the movie has been delayed for years. And can you talk about this a little bit, or can you tell us why, or not at all? Because I don't want to bother you with this. I can imagine it must be a long journey, to see the end of the road.
There's a lot of...
Yeah, Pelel, good call. Yes, Tony Siragusa was in The Sopranos. He was the Bart. Yeah, that's exactly right. He's unmistakable. I mean, he's got, what is he, Sarah? 6'6", 380 pounds, and he's so fucking Italian. He's every, Italian mafia bodyguard. When you watch, a mafia movie, this huge fucking Genzo that's 6'6", 3, that's Siragusa.
Mm-hmm.
Super duper huge personality. He's just very anti-jock as far as the way he conducted himself, and that's why he stood out.
Factors that ultimately led to the movie being, unable to be released. Things ranging.
Scott Balow says, Sarah, I think they have a software that detects any movies now that are being played and just immediately stops the stream. I agree. It was way too fast. It was way too fast.
I was reading why it could happen on a private stream or an unlisted stream. The only thing I could read, and you're probably right, but the only thing I came up with as the reason was somebody was pushing report.
Yeah. I mean, you run the risk of promoting it, that someone just can easily do that. But Balow might be right. It was too quick. It was, the algorithm kicked in.
Yeah. The only thing that throws me is it's unlisted. I don't know.
Yeah, that too.
Anyway.
It's so big brothery with YouTube now. It makes they need to be humble. They need a competitor.
I need another option.
Yeah. And that's what whatchamacallit, when we were on Gunk, we did we still are Twitch. That's when G Canada posts twice on Twitch and YouTube. And I read them twice.
Yeah, I hope for brand new tube. I even have an account over there, but it turned into right-wing nuts and just conspiracy theory videos, and I don't know if I
Yeah.
want us over there.
Mackie 504, welcome, sir. I don't know if you watched our show Thursday. We did a James Caan tribute in the beginning. We played 6 clips of his last appearance, and we indeed talked about he was offered the Superman role before Christopher, which is a bizarre juxtaposition to think of him instead of Reeve. I'm glad with that. And he talked about how it was like a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. Great interview. I recommend it. I have the full thing. I just played what I thought the best 6 clips were. It wasn't even. We were just. He mentioned Depp in the thing, and that's why I initially got it. And I told you, Sarah and I had a conversation about. I asked Sarah the day before he passed away. No idea he was even sick. It was crazy. And I go, Sarah, do you remember when James Caan was talking about how much he loved Johnny Depp? She's like, barely, not really. I guess so. I don't
Hmm.
know. And I'm like, well, I remember it. And so I went looking, and I looked it up, and I tracked it down. And I found it. I'm like, oh, here it is. And then he dies. The next day he dies. And like, holy shit. So we should just turn this into like a tribute to start the show with. And I just went and found the video interview, the last one he
Oops.
did on Howard, and the stuff of him
Yeah.
breaking Howard's balls. And I thought it was good. I really, really enjoyed it that we did that. It was a little bit of an audible. Speaking of Syracuse.
And folks, I apologize. This headset, there's no mute on the headset itself. So I have to go to StreamYard and mute myself. So I keep bumping it and I'm coughing and it's a mess.
You sound like Liz Cheney on C-SPAN because of the headset. You really do. Everybody's saying it, Sarah. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody.
Mm.
From the juiciest, a lot of political figures and people that did it.
Yeah, Brendan, I know, Brendan, the obvious. What the fuck am I thinking, Brendan? Norm Macdonald, Gilbert Gottfried, other arty fucking adjacent people. That's like not even, I know. How do I even gloss over that? You're so right. It's and yet Artie lives. Gina, you're absolutely right. It's crazy, 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 crazy shit. That Constitution.
Didn't want the truth of the story to be told.
I hate to stop it again, but you also wonder what it does to Artie's pathos, right? When all his friends and confident affiliates are dropping dead all around him, and he lives. I wonder what that does to his site. I would love a modern day interview with Artie. Would be just phenomenal. Talking about all these people, it's got to be haunting the shit out of him, knowing what we know about it. It's got to be.
And I think he's gonna, for the rest of his life, he's gonna need his mother. So when she passes, I think he will probably end it.
His mom's classic Italian smothering mom. I know so many women like her. Really, just good women who just they're a mom till her dying day. She sounds like I don't know a bad word about. Wasn't she? She was like she was a receptionist, right? And then
something like that. Yeah.
The family had gone into bankruptcy because dad passed away, and it's a sad story. He talks about his mom. It's very, very sad. I believe every word of it. I don't think it's a lie. I think she'd shoot it down if it was. I don't think he'd lie about his mom.
Do you buy the theory that he had something to do with his dad's death?
Huh?
Do you buy the theory about his dad's death?
With the latter?
No, not the latter, but at the very end when his dad asked him to end it. And that's why he's so fucked up now, which I would be.
Like assisted suicide?
Yeah.
Kaardian?
Kavarkian?
No, yeah, I believe him. That's too morbid.
Nobody's going to ever know because that's something you don't talk about.
Yeah, I believe him. That's too morbid to make up. No one's going to make that up.
No, people are hinting at it. I had the theory a long time ago. It was in the back of my head. I was like, he's fucked up for a reason. I get your dad's a quadriplegic and that will fuck you up, but I think something was asked of him at some point at the very end. Hey, I would do it too if my father asked me, so.
David, I think I speak for the whole chat, and they want to know how accurate Mad Men really is. So can you please tell us your experience in the 60s and the advertising agency when you were doing jingles for them? We'd just like to know how accurate is Mad Men really? Did they get it right?
A lot of things that are very challenging and difficult for me to put my finger on and sort of articulate what's going on behind the scenes at a very, very high political level within the city of Los Angeles and beyond. But then also, oddly, it was coupled with the the original studio Open Road is being sold.
By the way, Pellel is a nice little, again, you learn something, a few things on the Deppening. Every time, Pell writes, you need mini screwdrivers to change iPhone batteries because we'll make sure it's magnetized or it's a PETA to keep the screws on. I didn't know you could even take one of the reasons I don't F with Apple, Pell, is because I thought you can't F with their batteries and stuff.
I don't know if you can.
You
They
have
know
an
more about it than
iPhone.
I do.
Yeah, don't you
I
have an
do. I
iPhone?
don't need. I just get a new one.
I don't. I like see if you go on if you go on a trip where you're not sure you can charge your phone and you have an Android, you can buy like 5 backup batteries and just keep them and then switch them. You can't do that on an iPhone, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the company they were sold to never really financially mounted and went bankrupt and declared bankruptcy. So that was happening. And then, all the stuff with respect to Johnny was also challenging from a buying perspective. But my experience with Johnny is
Sunflower Dragon, I like Arm's argument against cursing is fuck that. I know. Well, my argument, Sunflower Dragon, is I think it was more clever for them to dance around the censors with clever nomenclature than the actual cursing. It just the cursing reveals the Neanderthal, low IQ,
He's
lowbrow
lazy. Yeah.
lazy pieces of shit they all are.
And
That's
he's
what
got this annoying habit of he over accentuates his curse words like Robin
Yes.
does. That's his
Yes.
comedy.
And you could thank the cursing for the Ronnie era, which I despise. Ronnie
Yeah,
essentially is the
I
Artie joke.
never found him funny ever.
Your IQ again, you just lose IQ points every time in every way, shape, and form.
he's an absolute gem. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being. He never punched anybody on set or anything like that. There's just a bunch of nonsense.
Okay, so this is him just getting in front of this interview was done, I think Should Evil Lies came out a year ago, fully in the United States. And for anyone, I'm going to make good. I have the formatted version. It's 1080. It's only a gigabyte of the full movie that we were supposed to watch. And anybody that needs it, I will just contact me. The crazy Robins of the world. I have that. So he's talking about here. He's getting in front of the allegations, and this is a year ago. He's promoting the release, and the movie didn't even make $1 million here. Think about this, Sarah. You got Depp, right? The Amber Heard stuff is following him, right? And then this comes out in the midst of all that. So another assault allegation on top of that. And ironically, Brad Furman casted it to get the movie made because it wouldn't have been made if Depp didn't get cast, and the people that turned it down. So they went to Depp. Depp was the reason they had any financing, and then they do cast him, and it's just nothing but the LAPD fucking with it. Depp's got the Amber Heard stuff, and then this shit comes out. It's crazy how plagued this is.
Challenging from a buying perspective, but my experience with Johnny is he's an absolute gem. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being, he never punched anybody on set. Or anything like that. There's just a bunch of nonsense there. So I've had the experience of, a lot of bizarre things all coalescing.
Yeah.
Didn't allow the movie to go out. Obviously, the most challenging being, just the things you can't see, which is the people who don't want the movie to come out kind of thing. So it's tricky.
Yeah, I can understand. It's like a little bit cursed, with the case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had a million people say that to me, which is like the case is cursed, the whole situation's cursed, now the movie's cursed. Yeah, I've seen it and heard it. It is a real miracle to me. By the way, I don't know fact or fiction, but I think the movie may premiere at Deauville.
Pell writes, Sarah, I want you to think of Shazam, Billy Batson.
I hated that movie.
What? I
saw it in the theater.
I would have done some different things, but I thought it was one of the better. I'm a huge Shazam fan, and so is Elvis, who you love, right? So, with the wisdom of Solomon and the strength of Hercules and the power of Atlas, and what is it? Achilles, the power of Zeus, and the speed of Mercury. That's what the acronyms stand for. All the gods.
Good for him. Not a fan.
So?
I did buy the Shazam Funko Pop and made mint on that thing.
Shazam. I love Shazam better than Super Shazam. Elvis's hair, I would believe, is based on Shazam's, wouldn't it be?
I think it was either Superman, Shazam, or a combo.
No, it's got to be Shazam.
It could be. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
So Pellel has right. Shazam, so Sarah, I want you to think of Shazam, the app. It can detect music in an instant. Maybe there's a software that can do the same thing. Absolutely, it's got to be there by now. Absolutely, that's a great
All of
comparison.
you folks know way more about it than I do. So I'm barely holding on to this technology thing at my age. So I believe you.
What are you, David? You're pretending to be older than you are?
I am so old. I feel it every day when I get up out of a chair. I'm so old.
I use Shazam like in a store or a supermarket. Like you hear like the weird song from the 80s playing. You never knew who the title was. You know the song, but you don't know who did it or whatever. And you want, oh my God, I'm a mental patient, and I do like a John Cusack where I'll hold my phone up to the speaker and try to get the music, and I have so many songs on my thing from doing that move, and I'll download them when I get home, and I love that app so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really cool.
Now, Brad, I'm gonna let enter my. His question is more about Johnny Depp. After years of playing, in a lot of blockbuster movies and popular characters,
I actually love what Herman's about to say here. I couldn't agree more. He's kind of subtly taking a shot at him, saying that he got away from what made him great. I feel this is what he's saying. Tell me if I'm right.
The audience wants to see like the real Johnny Depp, again, the exceptional actor he is. And clearly your movie seems to be perfect. Like, it's a kind of rebirth for him. Did you feel during the shooting he had this will, to push the thing beyond the line and maybe to prove something? And as a director, did you want it to push him and help him in this direction?
Well, I think I touched on it actually when we were chatting a little earlier. I felt that the role of Russ Poole as a detective and what we would know as like a straight detective like that, I felt it was really important to bring sort of like a unique element, or what would you say, like a joie de vivre or something to the character, that would be very special and unique.
Sarah, what does joie de vivre stand for again?
That thing. I can't describe it.
Special quality, like a.
You've got that. Oh God, I'm doing this without Google. Like all of you.
No, you're right. It sounds
unlike all of you are doing right now.
It starts like that. It's joie de vivre. It's like a special kind of thing you have, a presence.
The it factor.
Okay, the it factor. Okay. Well, he sure does. He is ground zero of joie de vivre, joie de Depp, Depp.
And instead of it being like.
Johnny.
Like this, Johnny approaches his characters from a different angle. He's very eccentric and unique and has all these things about him. So I was very unwilling to sacrifice and settle and not have something special for the beating heart of the movie. And because I had seen Johnny obviously in Donnie Brasco and Benny and June and all of these early classics that he had been in, he played very human characters. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? And I wanted to take Johnny back to that humanity. I was very clear. I didn't want any prosthetics. I wanted to use old school makeup, and I was very focused on getting the human elements of who Johnny was into the character. So it was very conscious in my thinking, and he was totally game.
Yeah.
I met with him. Normally a meeting with an actor is an hour and a half. We met for 9.5 hours, and we spent an inordinate.
Believe me, at that point, Depp had the time. All the stuff had dried up, and he had. This is the one time he had the time. And did he not say
I was wrong?
What are you wrong about?
It's the joy in life, according to chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that in context?
Whatever.
Of what
I don't have
said?
it, so.
Okay.
I need to call out Dorian Morgan. This is hilarious, and I can't stop laughing. He says David threw orange slices at Cesar Romero's butt.
The Joker. Oh my God. Was that a thing?
I don't know, but I'm picturing
I don't even know. Is Cesar Romero actually gay?
I don't think so.
I don't know. It seems like that whole Batman villain cast was gay.
Back then, nobody said they were, so I don't know.
Frank Gorsh, I know.
I think he was on Golden Girls. He played Sophia's boyfriend.
The thing with Cesar Romero is he had a mustache playing the Joker, so they
Yeah.
painted over his mustache, and he wouldn't. Those guys are so brilliant. That show had so many brilliant comedic actors.
I used to
doing
watch it
stuff.
every morning.
Yeah, as who didn't?
They have. I'm so sorry. Up in Everett, Washington, which I need to go soon. Everett, they have a Funko shop. They have a replica of that Batmobile. It is the greatest thing you've ever seen. I'm sorry.
So somebody recreated the actual
Yeah. Oh,
Adam
so
West
great.
Batmobile. One thing
Yeah.
I noticed about that show, as a kid, you pick up on this stuff. So if you notice when Batgirl was on, it was
Mhm.
never a cliffhanger. They always solved the crime in the one episode. They never cliffhung with Barbara Gordon. So with the Batgirl thing, they would show her zip by on the Batcycle at the end in the credits, and they didn't have a two-part. She was only on one, so they solved the crime in the one episode with Batgirl.
Mhm.
It never segued into the next one. I don't know if anybody ever picked up on that.
Scott Balo has a question for me. It's about the headset. It's a Dell headset. I will email you with the model number. I got to look it up.
It sounds fantastic, and so it goes into any tablet or phone.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the tablet that's making it sound so good. I don't know.
No, I think it's both. I think the headset definitely plays a part in it.
Yeah, I will email you the model number.
When you're also on like a tablet, there's no such thing as drivers or updates with it. So it's
Yeah, I'm on a
you're
Galaxy.
never gonna have a Windows problem with it.
Yeah.
You're never gonna deal with that. It's not gonna restart when you don't want it to. I think we should. Are you using a laptop too?
Yeah, because we're going to have a reading in a minute, so I can't
That's a good
see
system.
what we're going to read on a tablet.
You actually could walk around. This is what I used to do. You can walk around with the tablet and the headset and actually not sit tethered to the one spot. I used to do that all the time.
I was tempted to go greet the Amazon guy
And
on the show, but I didn't. Yeah.
You should put them on. Next time.
I'll order something for the next episode so it arrives on it.
That guy has a lot of joie de vivre. That's what I know.
An amount of time talking about character and the real Russ Poole and his love of music and how we could evoke a human character that is really unique and give the fans, which is what I think you're also saying, give them something they hadn't seen of Johnny in a while, which is that type of character. So that was all in the DNA and the goal.
All right, that's enough on that. We're going to go to the transcript now. Sarah, do you agree with me that he was taking a subtle shot at Depp's losing his way in his script choices?
Yes, I do.
Like I've been saying. He firmly stated it wasn't like he was he said, I want Gilbert Grape again. I want Donnie Brasco again. And then I think he plainly stated it's not even like he really danced around it. That's been my argument for a decade now. And I've stayed on here every time.
While we're reading, by the way, chat, I have a request for you while we're reading. I need you to post what you're having for dinner tonight because I need ideas.
Me?
No, I need the chat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm frying shrimp in an air fryer. It's going to be delicious.
But yeah, you're a walking air fryer. I didn't even know you were one of the first people I knew that like regularly used an air fryer. And I called you the walking air fryer like 5 years ago.
I have a new Ninja indoor grill that has an air fryer feature on it. I got it as a gift, and it is fantastic. I'm going to use it. And
how's the grill? Because we were told.
Oh, the grill is great.
Does it feel like a barbecue? I mean, does it simulate?
Yes, it's smaller than a barbecue. You can probably fit 2 decent-sized hamburger patties on it. But
does it taste like you're just using a charcoal grill? And
I think so.
I've heard it's great.
Smoke,
I've heard
add some liquid smoke to it. But after we're done with the reading, we'll go back and chat. I want to see what you're eating. I lived through everybody else. Okay. We're on page 11.
Page 11 is where it starts. You're going to be playing.
Yeah, I'm going
to type. I'm just going to be playing some New York dope.
Yeah, but I'm saying
generic New York accent, like what's that guy? Detective Bullock in Batman. Just some.
Let's start on line 14, page 11. Page 11 on the side, not at the bottom.
Thank you, James Lipton. Let me just get it out first here.
Also, the last deposition we had was riddled with skipping. So they took out chunks of the the deposition stuff. I can't think of the word. I'm fried. But
Yeah, deposition,
this one
transcript,
has
deposition.
one. I skimmed through it. This one has one big one. Hopefully, I catch it, but we'll just barrel through it.
I don't know if you're reading your own, right? So I'm going to expand my screen so people can see it bigger. I don't know if
Okay.
I'm going to go to 150, 125. You don't want it too big because then you can't see what's. I want it big, but not. So we're going to page 10. It starts out
No,
with
page
not
11. Page 11 on the side, not at the bottom.
on this. So it starts with you'll have a chance to review it.
No, page 11, line
I'm on page
14.
11. It starts with now you are in medication.
Yes,
this
that's where I'm
morning?
going to start.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Okay, so let me just tell everybody, this is Gregg Rocky Brooks. He's the plaintiff in the Deppisode trial that was levied in 2019. The trial has been delayed. City of Lies is the movie. He's also suing Brad Furman and Miriam Siegel, I think is one of the producers. And this trial is going to be taking place. Camille Vasquez, again, Ms. Vasquez is representing Depp. I'm almost positive. Yes, she's representing Depp. July 24th, 25th, 26th, one of the, I think those days. It's good, but it's not the judge
25th.
actually. The judge shot down the televising it, so we're not going to be seeing it. I think they tried again to have it televised, and I think that's going to be Depp's new trademark thing, is that full transparency. Maybe they'll try again. Maybe we'll get it, but as of now, no.
Yeah.
So we're on line 14. Okay.
Now this is your typical sitcom, side character coming in to fake an injury to sue to sue the main character. And, in the court, they throw a book behind him and he stands up to react, even though he has a neck brace on. This guy is just a scam artist.
We're probably going to take the suit about the 3 hour and something mark. We're not going to do the whole thing. We're going to stop and we'll come back to it next time. Next weekend.
All right. Okay. Now, are you on any medication this morning that would affect your ability to understand my questions or give me coherent answers?
No.
Normally, I ask, and I'll go ahead and ask it now so we can discuss this. Is there any reason your deposition can't proceed today?
Well, like I said earlier, I'm in a lot of pain from neck injuries. I'm having recurring symptoms, and I'm in a little bit of pain. I haven't been sleeping well, but I didn't take any pain medication, so I could be clear-headed today. Yeah.
Hold on, it's frozen, of course.
For you?
For me on my laptop. Okay.
I hear you fine. You're not frozen.
All right. It's working. Okay.
Okay. Do you remember where you are?
Yes, my line is okay.
No, I said clear-headed. You say perfect.
Oh, God. Okay. It skipped to the next page. That was my problem. A shit show this is.
That's okay.
Perfect. Let me follow up a bit on that so we can hopefully come up with a game plan of how to approach this. As I told you off the record and your counsel, I don't want to put you through something that you are physically unable to do, whether it's going to be putting you in an extreme amount of pain and then somehow possibly impacting your testimony today.
Correct.
So if you hit a point today where you think you can't continue anymore because of your pain, will you tell me that?
I will.
If you need to take a break at any point, and we've discussed off the record that you probably will need to take some breaks to walk around, will you tell me when you need a break?
They're really laying it on thick, huh?
I know.
Absolutely. Definitely.
And we talked off the record about how long this might take. And I think you told me up front that, if this is going to take a whole day, you wouldn't be able to make that, correct?
That is more likely correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these symptoms, the pain that you've described for me, is attributable to a spinal condition. Is that right?
Yeah, a cervical and spinal. Yeah, that's correct.
Can you give me a little more detail on what the cervical and spinal issues are that you have?
I've had cervical laminectomy since 2015, where the nerve canal is narrowed to the point where my feeling in my body is like shut off. So they had to shave down to the bone that is have some kind of place to go. and that was somewhat successful. Then, like a year later, we had recurring symptoms, and they put in like 2 titanium discs to the front of my neck, and I was like, I recovered very well from that, and I was like, I was back to work, and recently I just having symptoms again.
Okay.
By the way, Sarah, I mean, this should state the obvious here, but so this is I look at this guy, Greg Rocky Brooks, is a just like a roving, almost like gig working teamster. I don't know if there's a union for what this
I think
is,
that's perfect. Yeah.
location manager, and I think he's hitting an age where he's not saved up enough money, and he's
Mhm.
worried, and he hasn't gotten enough work, and he's looking at this, and he's been told, if you could fucking cash in on Depp, and he just doesn't feel like going through it, he's too busy, he's too consumed with the Amber Heard stuff, hit him, he'll settle with you, and you'll be set. I think he has kids he probably shouldn't have had. I really don't think he's set up for retirement at all, and I think this is his way of giving himself a retirement. This is my prediction on
You don't
how
think he's
his mind.
invested well?
Yeah, I don't think he's invested well. I don't know what does a location manager make per film.
I don't know.
Apparently, he claims he got a gig on Hulu. I think it comes up later in the transcript. I scanned through it. I haven't read this. I mean, I scanned
Mhm.
through it. I read this and here and there, but I stopped and I saw Hulu somewhere, and so that's all I know
Mhm.
since then. Okay, we're on line 20.
21.
Did you say okay again? Something.
Okay.
So I'm scheduled the 20th to see my surgeon as a follow-up. I got a MRI, another MRI taken off my spine this week, and it's supposed to be yesterday, but it was canceled.
That's on September 20th?
Yes.
And the titanium disc you had put into your neck, that was in 2016?
Yes.
Okay.
That was August.
And you said that after titanium discs, you were feeling better for an extended period of time?
I recovered nicely and well. Yeah.
Oh, good, good. Okay. And when did the symptoms start to return?
Roughly a month to about 6 weeks ago.
Then a reporter breaks in. Can I just ask you to speak up a little bit for me?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
Do you have any idea what was there any sort of incident or accident that happened that led to the recurring symptoms?
Well, getting up and stepping out of bed is one. Who knows? Who knows?
Now, maybe I can fast forward on some of this. You've given this lawsuit, as you know, relates to an incident that occurred in April of 2017 on a movie set involving yourself and Johnny Depp, correct?
That's correct.
And you've given sworn discovery responses in this case indicating that you don't attribute any physical injuries to that incident with Mr. Depp in April of 2017. Are you aware that you've given those answers?
Yes.
And is it fair to say that you don't attribute any of your current physical conditions to anything that happened between you and Mr. Depp?
That's correct.
Okay. Let me shift gears then. I will
Shift
remind
gears.
I'll shift this gear. I will remind you that if at any point you need to take a break or we're getting too far down the road, tell me. Have you
I
done
think
Okay, sorry. Have
he
you
like
done
he I guess he mumbles and then he goes
Yeah.
and there's no audible. Okay.
Have you done anything to prepare yourself for your deposition today?
I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Okay. For example, have you reviewed any documents to get yourself, back up to Oh, and then we skip. Okay.
So okay, so it goes from 10 minutes later,
Mhm.
I say, so ask the question again, please.
Do you know one way or the other whether any person ever actually told Mr. Bertolino that Mr. Depp was the one that was the source of the blackballing?
Was that Jack Tripper's
No.
boss?
No.
It was Mr. Angelino, right? At the
I
what
don't
was it called?
remember.
Jack's Bistro, the restaurant he worked at.
At the end, I think, yeah.
Yeah. I'm unsure.
Now, in this action, you sued Brad Furman, correct?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And who is Mr. Furman?
Mr. Furman is the director of the movie.
Okay. And you did sue her Oh, wait, sorry. And you also sued Miriam Siegel, is that correct?
Yeah, she's the producer of the movie.
And you did sue her, correct?
Yes.
And you eventually dismissed the claims against Mr. Siegel or Ms. Siegel and Mr. Furman, correct?
Correct.
To the extent that you've been put on a no hire list, is it possible that Mr. Furman might have some involvement in your appearing on a no hire list?
It's possible.
And to the extent you have actually been on some sort of no hire list, is it possible that Ms. Siegel might be responsible for you being on that no hire list? Objection calls for speculation.
It's possible. As Azizian is Brooks's lawyer. This is kind of like would you say it's Jessica Myers doing this, Sarah, or is it
Yeah.
the it might
One
be
of
the
them.
younger, it's Randall Smith.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the young,
It's
I think it's the
possible.
young kid we saw on Depp's team doing
Yeah.
the examining here.
He was
And is he,
doing he's the blonde guy that was doing the argument for the jury instructions.
this isn't the main thing. Camille's going to be doing the heavy lifting
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to July 24th, 25th, 26th. And this is just one of, so this is they're not, this is something that's not a huge deal. It's not Wayne Dennison. He's in, I think he's out of Massachusetts. So yeah, so it says by Mr. Smith. So yeah, it is Randall Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
As you sit here today, do you have any knowledge yourself that would enable you to identify the actual source of the blackballing in terms of who the person was that did it, even if it even happened?
My guess would be it's something to do with Mr. Depp. Depp's people and his influence over Hollywood probably caused this. Yeah.
I'll move to strike that as non-responsive. Let me clarify. I don't mean to be rude by doing that,
I understand.
but this is a process, and later on we may be talking with a judge about whether answers are proper or not, and I have to protect my record on that.
I understand.
Okay, and I'll just re-ask the question. I don't want you to guess, and you prefaced what you said by your best guess.
Uh-huh.
So, would you agree with me that other than guessing or speculating, you personally can't offer any testimony one way or the other as to the actual source of any blackballing in terms of who the person was?
That's correct.
Okay,
I'm sorry. Oh, here we go with the
lay it
fucking
on.
here we go with the Brady Bunch briefcase thing.
Oh,
I'm
my neck.
sorry. Can I just stand up for a second and walk around a little bit?
Sure. Let's go off the record. Okay, so they go off the record. All
Come
right.
back. It is 11:07.
And they
come
skip
back.
7 minutes. Okay. All right. Next page. And that
Okay.
Good Film Productions, Inc., that's a reference to the Labyrinth film that you worked on, correct?
Yes.
And that's the film where the incident between yourself and Mr. Depp occurred, correct?
Yes. Correct. Now called City of Lies. Yes.
And so your work history shows that for several months after it, you went through October working on other productions on a fairly regular basis, correct?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that none of the injuries that you attribute to the incident with Mr. Depp in any way prevented you from working in your chosen field, at least through October 8th, 2017?
When you say injuries, does that have anything to do with the incident?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. Then.
Okay. So, and tell me, in the period between June 18th, 2017 and October 8th, 2017, when you had these jobs here that came after the Labyrinth film.
Okay, so now actually we are okay. I thought it was skipping. It's actually still 11. So this goes right up. Yeah. What would you like to know?
Well, my question simply is, and I need to find out from you, but my assumption, having looked at your work history here, was that for many months after the incident, you had no difficulty obtaining or doing work in your chosen field, correct?
It wasn't easy as it used to be, but correct, essentially, yeah.
And when you say it wasn't as easy as it used to be, what do you mean by that?
Well, there were people questioning me about the incident, if you know what I mean.
Okay, and who were those people?
Producers and shit.
Okay. Putting aside, and I want to make a distinction here. So, putting aside any negative ramifications that you think might, other people in the industry might have had because you were involved with the incident.
Uh-huh.
So, set that aside.
Right.
I want to focus only on your physical or emotional trauma that you suffered from the incident. Was there anything about your physical or emotional trauma from the incident that impaired your ability to work at least through October of 2017?
No, not really. No. But here's the thing, Sarah. Just put a pin in that for a second. We're on line 6,
Yeah,
page 33. Or no, actually no,
21.
21 on the actual left side, right?
Hmm.
So now, oddly, and it doesn't come up in this. How can if Depp's canceled at this point, and he's in a rough patch. This is 2017. The Amber Heard stuff's marinating now. He ain't getting shit. He is getting canceled. He is the Warner Brothers stuff, the Disney stuff is starting to hit home. He's having a rough time. You ain't having anyone blackballed from the industry if you're can't. How is he going to blackball someone from the industry if he himself is being canceled by Warner Brothers?
Hmm. Hey, run the
You know
banner.
what?
We got a grift.
Oh, right, we got a grift. There it is. See it?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So, that just alone doesn't make any sense because, and they're not going to say that here, but Depp essentially is at the worst point in his career. He's not having his sway does not work in this way.
Hmm.
There's absolutely no way. And obviously, as you know, Brooks is accusing Depp of having him blackballed from the scout location industry,
Yeah.
which I just don't buy on in itself. I don't buy on any level.
Yeah, I don't either.
Let's just catch up on the chat here and just see if because I want to apologize in advance to everybody in the chat because when we do this transcript stuff, it is impossible to work the chat like I normally would. I'm like on another page and I'm staring at it. You just can't. It's so I'm just trying to catch up here I'm usually far more fastidiously interactive on the chat and I
Are
just
you?
can't when
You
doing
have
this
had
stuff.
episodes where you have been 2.5 hours behind on chat,
It's,
so it's
and
expected.
the chat has mastered the art of breaking my balls about being behind on the chat type humor. They're just the greatest jokes about me being. I think it was I don't know who might have been Hooper or someone that I'm still in chats from 3 episodes ago, posting
Hmm.
sunflower dragon air fryer potato wedges. Just put a little olive oil in a bag, throw it on the wedges. Yeah, do you ever sprinkle oil on it, Sarah, in your air frying
Yes, I
prowess?
do.
Which helps. You can't just go by there, right? I mean, it's just a little bland sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do some Detective Bullock. I still have not heard what this Rocky Brooks sounds like, so I'm just going by Depp's description of him and that he's just some fucking just by the numbers cliche teamster fucking knucklehead that you would use. So I don't know. This is what I think he might sound like. And he's a little restrained because he's trying to act like he's pained by his injuries and the thing.
Yeah, of course.
Um, okay, so here we go back to line. We're on line 11, I said.
7, I think. Oh no, you're right.
I think I say yes.
And would you also agree that any impairment of your ability to work in later periods has to do with your belief that you've been blackballed? Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Would you also agree with me that any impairment of your ability to work in the period after Labyrinth has nothing to do with any physical or emotional trauma you claim to have suffered?
He does this. I think he does this deliberately. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure.
He
I
thinks he's
just want to
slick.
understand.
He thinks he's slick getting you to repeat the question.
Yeah. I just want to understand the lay of the land in your point of view.
Right.
Would you agree with me that no physical or emotional trauma that you attribute to the incident has impaired your ability to work since the incident occurred?
I would disagree. I would emotional trauma is certainly right. He puts right.
Yeah.
Rising its ugly head. It's raising its rising
Okay.
its ugly head right now.
Okay. And when did emotional trauma begin to have an impact on your ability to work?
I would say after filing the suit, the story coming out in the news, and then false stories coming out afterwards in the news really took a big hit on my emotional stability. Yeah.
Okay. Would you agree with me that up through the filing of your complaint, that up through that point in time, your physical and emotional state had no. Now, let me start over. Focusing on the period of time between the incident on Labyrinth in April 2017 and the date you filed your complaint, and I can represent to you that was July 6th of 2018.
Right. Right.
Would you agree with me that that between April 2017 and July 2018, no physical or emotional trauma that you attributed to the incident impacted your ability to work?
Nicely delivered, Sarah. That was good.
Yeah.
It's
Cunty.
very Camille, cunty Camille, right? I would agree with the physical part. The mental part is just having to do with people questioning me about the incident all the time, and it becomes a little bit overburdening, or it's a drag on you after a while. And but yeah, I kept moving on, shrugging my shoulders, and just another,
But stop me if I'm wrong. And I want to clarify this. I think what you told me was the questioning that led to your emotional concerns. That questioning really started after you filed your complaint, correct?
That's when the volcano erupted, if you know what I mean. Before
Ooh.
it was constant. It was constant.
Okay. Uh, so before you filed your complaint, from time to time, people would ask about the incident when you were seeking employment.
Everybody would ask about it when they've heard it and who I was,
Okay.
or found out I was found about the story. Everybody, there's no escaping it. You know what I mean?
And that caused you to have anxiety?
Absolutely.
What's the first time you can recall in your own mind's eye when any other person raised this incident as it related to your reference to find employment?
After filing suit,
Okay. For clarification, that was for employment. It was raised with relation to employment, correct? Oh, sorry. Oh, God, going back and forth. Can you read back my last question and his answer?
I'll
Oh,
be a
Jesus. Now,
reporter.
reporter. What's the first time you can recall in your own mind's eye when another person raised this incident as it's related to your reference to find employment after
So,
filing suit?
so let me get this straight, Sarah. So they have reporters sitting in
Court reporter,
on this
yeah.
court reporters on the table, and they get to fire questions at them
Well,
too.
yeah, to read back
Oh,
what was
right,
just
to read
asked.
back. I'm sorry. You're
It's like
right.
any
Thank you.
court. Yeah.
Right.
All right, thank you. Okay. And that would have been after the complaint was filed.
Yes.
Tell me how you wound up getting the position on Labyrinth.
I was, I was on the availability list. Labyrinth had completed their principal photography, but had gone over some kind of schedule, and they lost their actors. And then, okay, what happens here, Sarah? We go 2 minutes, skip, and something happens.
Yeah.
Is it still me though? Yeah, I believe it
Yes, it
is. I
is.
believe it is. Let me just pretend there's something going
Looks
on.
like they're asking what's your job description.
Okay, and I'm on a set, and so they had just walked away, and they let it. They're paying for the time, so we shut, as it were, and we shut it down. So I had to keep make sure everything was going smoothly with the Barclay Hotel, and then also deal with all of our new locations. We had the Peterson Museum, where I shut down Fairfax. We're over at Wilshire Boulevard, and for the reenactment of the Biggie Small murder, we shot that at El Rey Theater and various locations. It's my responsibility to, procure them and do the contracts, insurance, all the hiring and shit of security and fire, police. That's my job.
So you're responsible for securing the locations from soup to nuts.
From soup to nuts. Oh,
Who was your employer on the Labyrinth production, if you know?
what do you mean by employer?
Who wrote your paychecks?
Good Film Productions.
And were you working on an independent contractor basis on behalf of Good Film Productions?
Yes. You see, this is my point, Sarah, that he is on, like, he's a gigger, an independent contractor. So he really, I don't think he has like a nest egg I think I got kids in Adelphi. Oh,
Right.
so there's that whole my kids are in college bullshit you always hear.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he just simply isn't set up, and he's like over 60, and he's just terrified of what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
this is a way to cash in.
He told somebody in his Gindaloon circle that Johnny Depp yelled at him.
Yes.
So they're like, "Hey."
And the ambulance chasers started to pounce on him.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
All right. So good film productions didn't, for example, provide you with health benefits, correct?
Here we go. I'm right. I gotta even read this. No, I mean I work for my health benefits through the union, and need to have some kind of a certain amount of hours to accrue them.
Okay. So employment type benefits in your line of work is something that you get through your union position, correct?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Oh yeah. Sorry, yes.
And your contract then with Good Film was essentially on an independent contractor basis, correct?
Correct.
And who did you report to it? Well, who did you report to on the Labyrinth matter?
The head of me is Bruce Wayne Gillies.
The reporter
Uh
says, oh, sorry.
oh,
Blah, blah, blah.
Bruce Wayne Gillies is affiliated with Dick Grayson Potvin.
Uh-huh. The reporter breaks in. I'm sorry, what producer?
And then this is weirdness. And then it says line like down the street is by you. 24.
Oh, you already answered me. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the line producer that hired? Oh, wait, where are we? Oh, okay, sorry. Line down the street.
Yes.
Okay.
I may have walked over and told Miriam myself. I don't recall, but just to let everybody know, you got the extension, so
Was Miss Siegel difficult to work with?
extremely.
And give me a little overview on that. Why do you say she's extremely difficult to work with?
She's just a bully. She's a bully. She didn't really listen to reason. And when I took over the job, I was warned by the previous location department and all. Most department heads on this show that this is like a different kind of movie and it's really toxic, I was told.
Okay. And did anybody elaborate on what they meant by it's really toxic?
Well, they elaborated by the triangle relationship of Johnny, Miriam, and Brad.
What do you mean by the triangle relationship between the three of them?
Like your vagina.
Oh,
Oh! The three of them as director, producer, A-list actor, and star of the movie.
And so people that were working on the production told you that that three-way combination was not healthy?
Yes.
And that it was a three-way combination that was a difficult work environment?
Yes, a three-way. I know you know strange yet it act.
My God. Did you share those views once you had begun working on the project?
Yes.
Was Mr. Furman also difficult to work with?
Extremely.
What about Mr. Furman was difficult to work with?
Well, again, I mean, he's just combative. He doesn't really listen to reason, and he only wanted his way. He did things like it just didn't make any sense. He just wasted a lot of time.
What do you mean by wasted a lot of time?
Well, I've worked on a lot of film indecisions, just unprofessionalism. I like professional, and he's just unprofessional. I'm sorry. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So give me your recollection. Once you communicated to Mr. Gillies that you'd gotten the extensions to 11 o'clock and midnight for the inside shoot, what do you recall happening, or what do you recall next happening that day?
The day went on as usual. We did our filming. Everything was usual. The usual hectic film set stuff, trying to get everything done with a little timeline. Nothing unusual.
And from your observation, were things going along business as usual right up to the point you had the encounter with Mr. Depp?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, and?
As usual.
By somewhat, I take that as a qualification. What was not business as usual prior to the incident with Mr. Depp?
I just a movie production nonsense, that's all. It's not one specific thing. It's like, all the ins and outs and the minutia of like, can we just get through this day, this fucking day, and all the fucking craziness that surrounds it. I couldn't give you any specific kind of.
Would you agree that day was getting tense all the way around because of the impending deadlines?
Yeah, yes. It's like the last day of filming. As you say this too, Sarah. So we're doing this, guys. This is for everyone watching. I mean, this entire um timeline is, I mean, literally we're talking about like an hour or two. This
Hmm.
transcript encompass. It's not like you say like Depp first heard, which is
It's
years
not
and
like a
years.
6-year
This
relationship.
is this is like an hour or two. What we're talking
Yeah.
about. This whole lawsuit. It's been dragging on since now. I think we're going on year 4, and it
Hmm.
still isn't. We have no closure.
Yep.
I've heard rumors that Depp was going to just throw money at the problem and pay it off, and that's not happening gladly. And I'm glad I don't want him to.
Hmm.
That he was going to settle. There was a settling thing. I heard a rumor like 2 weeks ago that, and he's not. I want. I'm not sure because of the non-televised thing. They would go. Depp's just like, you know what? I know I'm right. I don't give a shit. Here's 200 grand. Get away from me. I don't want to deal with this again. I just want to get away from all things legal.
I
But
wouldn't
that,
be shocked if this case took as much time as this incident took.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that clear cut.
Yeah.
So we're on line 22.
Yep. So would you agree that Ms. Siegel and Mr. Furman were particularly difficult to work with that day?
Most likely.
Would you also agree that Mr. Depp was under time constraints that day as a co-producer?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I should also say this. So Depp has a stake in the movie. His company, Infinitum Nile, is working on it. His production company. He's the reason the movie got made. He's a boss. Depp is a shot caller on this movie. He's bringing in people. He's making decisions. He is what a producer does, and he should be. He's been in the business a long time. He should be making creative decisions, and I'm glad he is.
Hmm.
But he is a boss during this. Make no mistake.
Yeah. Would you agree that the general feeling on the set before the incident was somewhat tense?
It was every day.
Was it more tense that day?
It's hard to say.
Okay. Do you recall if you had any interactions with people besides Mr. Depp right before the incident that you would characterize as in any way tense?
Yes.
Tell me what such interactions you had before the incident.
There was an incident with the security guard for Gilmore Associates.
Okay. And tell me what you recall about the interaction between yourself and that security guard.
Well, the problem with Richard Wynn, I call him Dickie Wynn, and Gilmore Associates, are that Gilmore Associates owns all the filming properties around that area that we're filming in. So they're like to extort money from productions who are silly enough to pay them for no reason. Is he implying mafia stuff here?
I think he has a fantasy about the
Is
movie
that what it is?
industry.
That's weird. It's crazy. Extort money from them for no reason. And our movie was now, of course, it's over budget and over deadline, and they're trying to extort money from our production. And it's my job as location manager to make sure that and he could be right. I mean, this could be like a thing that happens, right? So your job is, I
Hmm.
didn't even realize this part of the job that you have to, there are places that try to make you go over so that you pay them more. I never thought of that. Like this could be legitimate. Maybe it's not, but that's it.
Hmm.
I never knew that was a thing. It's my job as location manager to make sure that that doesn't happen. So when they try to extort money and successfully from the production, Richard Wynn is in charge of filming at Gilmore Associates. He sent his security guard out on the street to take a videotape
How do you know that?
because he was.
How do you know Mr. Wynn sent the security guard to do videotape?
Because that's what he does every fucking time. That's his MO. He always has a security guard film other people's productions so that they have to record it and they have some kind of record of it. And it's like a battle of film LA.
When you say your perception of Gilmore Associates somehow trying to extort the production, what do you mean by that?
So they own all the properties around, and in one incident, there's some lights that are from the Barclay Hotel connected to the property, and we wanted to get them turned off. So they wanted like $2,500 to have them all turned off, and we just said no. We'll leave them on. Thank you very much. And the other time is when we were going out on the street doing this filming with Johnny closing the street and we're in front of the Gilmore Associates old bank building, which is on 4th Street. It's an empty building, and there's no business inside of it, and our filming is not impeding with any kind of course of business or any kind of their residences or any kind of like that.
All right. And how did you observe them trying to do any type of extortion as it pertained to this bank building on that day?
Well, in order for me to get extended hours, we have this Richard Wynn, who represents Gilmore Associates, sign off on anything permit-wise. And for me to get extended hours, they have to sign off on it.
What happens if they refuse to sign off?
Well, it just depends. Usually people pay and he just signs off then. But I immediately started an email chain with Film LA and my film coordinator, and I showed them the text chain. He was trying to get $2,500 for us to film out there, and I had the backing of Film LA that you do not need to pay him anything. You're on a public sidewalk, and you're not responsible for paying him anything at that point. Sarah, also too, $2,500 to Depp. It's like,
I know he has it.
They're really struggling with coffee. That's his wine bill for.
He
the
has it in
week.
his underwear.
No, they really struggle. And I believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I don't know if he had some financing with the film as well.
Yeah.
$2,500 they're struggling with this guy. Depp's net worth, I mean, at that point, I mean, they claim he lost $650 million, but still, I don't buy that at all.
So Film LA said don't pay him?
Correct.
And then what happened from there in relation to your interaction with anybody from Gilmore?
Well, it was a game that we played with Richard Wynn. And I get a little excited. He sent the security guard out there, and I flipped him off behind my back. I'm like, oh, right here, because I'm sending a little love message to Richard Wynn. It was nothing, but it had nothing to do with anything else.
How? And let me back up. So Mr. Wynn, was it Mr. Wynn personally that refused to sign off on the extension?
Yeah, he didn't sign off on the extension.
Did he communicate that directly to you?
He didn't sign off on it. I don't know who he communicated to with it or not. We went ahead, and I knew what happens here. We skipped to
signed by a witness. Let me see here.
Oh, that's Depp's team is over, so he gets his own lawyer.
Yeah.
That's the defendant. That's team. That's Brown and Rudnick. Smith's over,
Yeah.
and then I think
it starts again on page 39 on the side. 39 on the side.
Okay. We're actually further along than I thought. It is going to be from who's doing the deposing here?
Whoever his attorney is, I think.
Oh, okay. Armenick. It's always Arm.
Yeah, so let's start on line 3.
Tamar Armenick.
Okay. And how many other discussions have you had with Mr. Duffy?
You mean Patrick Duffy? Fucking Dallas. Just one.
Okay, when was that discussion?
That was right after the New York Post article came out, and then he called me.
When did the New York Post article come out, as best you recall?
May of 20.
And the reporter breaks in 20?
18, I believe.
Okay, and was that before or after your lawsuit had been filed?
That was before. That was before.
Is the New York Post article from May of 2018 the first published article about the incident that you can recall ever learning about?
Yes.
So fair to say that prior to the New York Post article being published in May of 2018, you never heard that there was any sort of other press coverage about the incident, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you said Mr. Duffy called you after the New York Post article came out in May?
That's correct.
And tell me what you recall about that discussion.
Well, I was driving. We were in a bad cell zone. So we had a discussion that was like, it was hard to hear from each other. Eventually, I called him back, and we discussed the article, and I went over again with the case and what happened on the set.
In either of these discussions with Mr. Duffy, did you tell him that Mr. Depp had physically struck you?
Yes.
And tell me as best you can recall what you conveyed to him about that.
I told him that in the process of enforcing the permit for the film LA, I walked up to the first AD and I told him that it was like the last shot of the night. I was directed by Brad Furman, the director, to tell him, and I had to tell that to Johnny Depp then. You tried doing that. I went over to tell my officer, John Big Rig, to
Ooh.
enforce the permit.
All right, it skips 10 minutes here.
Does it really? You saw
Yep.
7 minutes.
Oh, yeah, 10. That's 10 to me. Okay, I'm going to go to line 4.
If you have 7 rebounds a game, do you round it off to 10?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Okay. And do you have any idea why Mr. Depp approached you to speak with you? Objection calls for speculation.
Is that
All right, ignore my objection
sorry.
and answer the question if you can.
Ask the question again because
Did you have any idea why Mr. Depp approached you in the first place? Same objection.
no.
Would Mr. Depp have had any reason to know that you were doing anything to shut down the production at the time he approached you? Objection calls for speculation.
No.
Okay. So as you sit here today, knowing all the events that transpired, can you think of any reason why it was that Mr. Depp approached you that evening?
He overheard Brad Furman tell me to go tell him it was the last shot.
So you believe Mr. Depp heard that and then approached you for that reason? Is that your testimony?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. How close was Mr. Furman at the time Mr. Depp interacted with you that evening?
Mr. Furman and Mr. Silver were next to each other, and I'm not sure Mr. Depp was, but I was looking for him. I really wasn't looking for him at that time, honestly.
So, and when you say you weren't sure where Mr. Depp was at the time, you're referring now to the moments before he approached you, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. At the time Mr. Depp approached you and came within a few feet of you, do you recall how close Mr. Furman was to the two of you?
About 10 feet.
Okay. Was his view of the interaction between yourself and Mr. Depp blocked in any way to your knowledge? Objection calls for speculation.
I don't believe so.
Okay. So, from your recollection of that evening, you would have expected that Mr. Furman would have had a clear view of what took place between yourself and Mr. Depp that evening, correct? Objection, speculation.
Correct.
Okay. Now let's continue going through chronologically here. I think where we left off was you said you were surprised and Mr. Depp approached you from your left-hand side and came within a few feet of you, correct?
Yes.
And then he raised his voice at you, correct?
Yes.
All right.
And then we go 2 minutes. Somehow it's a weird skip it to, and then he says again, no, no, yes, no,
Are you sure of that?
no.
All right, let me back up and give you some of the ground rules I didn't remind you of at the outset.
Sorry.
I don't want you to speculate on anything.
Okay.
Don't assume because I ask you an answer or ask you a question, you have to know an answer. So if I ask you a question and you honestly don't know, you should tell me, I don't know, or I don't remember, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so is it fair to say you don't remember whether you were wearing a coat that evening or not at the time you had this exchange with Mr. Depp, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, did you shout out in pain when you were hit with either of these punches?
No.
Did you get the wind knocked out of you when you were hit by either of these punches?
No.
Did you drop to a knee at the time you were hit with either of these punches?
No. I mean, I'm being hit by Willy Wonka over there. I'm not dropping the fucking knees. This ain't Donnie Brasco. Come on.
Did you make any sort of physical reaction that would indicate you were in any sort of pain or distress at the time you were hit with either of these punches?
I was more surprised than anything else.
Is that a no to my question?
The punches hurt.
Okay, did you make a physical reaction when you were hit with these punches?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Did either of the punches bring you to tears?
No.
Did either of the punches knock you down?
No.
Did either of the punches leave any physical marks on your body?
No. Only Amber Heard gets those.
Yeah, just take a picture 2 weeks later and change the contrast. Okay, and by your answer to that question, is it your testimony that that you did not have any bruising on your body based on these punches?
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any bruising. No,
Okay.
doesn't mean there wasn't there though.
Okay. I'll move to strike everything that after that doesn't mean it wasn't there as non-responsive to the question posed, just so I can get a clean record. As I told you before, from time to time, your counsel may interpose objections.
Right.
Or I may say things like that. I don't mean that as a disrespect to you. I'm protecting a record to talk with the judge later on in this case.
Yes.
Is it your testimony today that you don't recall either of these punches causing you to suffer any bruising?
That's correct.
Is it also fair then to say after this incident you didn't make any effort to take any pictures showing any bruising on your body, correct?
Yes.
That's fair to say?
And then it
Oh,
what
it
happens? We
skips.
skip
Okay.
8 minutes. We go 8, and
Yep.
it's back to you.
All right. And during that discussion, did you discuss what had happened between yourself and Mr. Depp?
I do not remember.
Do you have any sort of formal training in self-defense?
No.
You ever served in the military?
No.
Now, in the complaint you filed in this action, and I'm going to paraphrase, but the allegations indicate words to the effect that throughout the incident with Mr. Depp, you remained calm. Would you agree with that? Objection lacks foundation.
Yes. Sarah, hold on a second. So,
Yep.
how much do you think Brooks is playing off the Amber Heard situation now?
Oh,
Now the TMZ video has been out for about a year, and so he gets together with people and says, this is a guy who's got a bit of he misinterprets or misreads the TMZ
probably his
video and thinks
attorneys.
we can use that he's just a fucking loose cannon. He knows his security's with him at all times. He has and they research, Depp, the London paparazzi when they were going for shots for when Lily Rose was born, and the stuff with Jump Street in the late 80s, the Kate Moss hotel room. This is a loose cannon. This is a crazy motherfucker. He'll just swing at everybody. He knows he has no accountability, and we're going to use that he hit you. That they used essentially the TMZ video was a trigger for them taking it to this extent.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Absolutely.
you agree with
Very
that?
possible. Very
I do
possible.
too, because it had been out. This
You're
is when
kind of
that
stupid if you don't.
yeah, the TMZ video was circulating. It was huge during this
Yeah.
very time. No, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm wrong. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm
It's
not.
about
It's
that
after.
time.
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's exactly so. Everybody, all people were. In fact, that TMZ video was. He was like. It's all people could think about for a while with him.
The TMZ video came out August 16.
Yeah, and this is years later, and I think
Yeah.
this had been marinating, and they used that. That was just a very, very easy, low-hanging fruit to go after and go
Mm-hmm.
that who wouldn't believe, and the public sentiment was against him so mightily. Who wouldn't believe this at
Yeah.
that point?
Agreed. Okay, let's see. As best you can do it, can you describe for me what your demeanor was after you got struck by Mr. Depp? How did you react, if at all?
To the best of my recollection, once I was
Sorry.
to the best of my recollection, once I was approached by Mr. Depp and started being screamed at and berated in front of the whole crew, and then being punched. I really don't remember. I just know that I had to stay calm because it's my job to stay calm and diffuse situations. But in my mind, I was thinking this is like unbelievable to me. I cannot believe this is happening. This is like so unreal.
Looking backwards on this interaction between yourself and Mr. Depp, do you believe that Mr. Depp intended to cause you any sort of harm at the time of this exchange?
I don't know what he intended to do, honestly.
Objection calls for speculation. All right, looking backwards in time, do you have any reason to believe that Mr. Depp intended to somehow offend you by his conduct?
Yes.
What about the events caused you to say that you have that belief?
He approached me. He belittled me in front of the crew. He punched me when I was doing my job. Due to protocol, Film LA says wrap it up with the permit, and that's what I'm doing. My interaction was never even supposed to be with Mr. Depp. So yeah, I was very surprised and taken aback he'd even come near me.
Would you agree the best person to ask about Mr. Depp's intentions were at the time would be Mr. Depp himself?
Yes.
You say Mr. Depp belittled you in front of the crew, and were there particular words that Mr. Depp used that you consider to be belittling toward you?
He said, Monty Python. Okay, I remember. He said, oh, who the fuck are you? What the fuck are you? Who are you? What do you think you're doing? You know, like I'm a fucking pissant. You know.
Any other words that you consider to be belittling directed at you by Mr. Depp?
Watch that wide load, yo. Yes, I mean that, and he said, I don't give a fuck who you are and what you're doing, and punching me. I think that's pretty belittling. Also, I would believe, right?
Yeah. Do you need to take a break?
I'm getting to that point. Yeah.
Okay, go off the record. All right, let's end it there. It's halfway through.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here to end this, we're about 250. I'm gonna play the video. I recorded the other witness. So the I believe the script supervisor is very adamant that this is all bullshit. So she recorded something around that time, and I recorded it for you.
Okay. Take the
Just
chat off so it doesn't flip out.
before we went on. What chat?
The Hooper that's up on the screen.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's gonna do much, but let's see what happens.
It might. So, okay.
Hold on, let me get rid of. Okay, I wanted to get rid of this. I didn't know if the transcript was still there. So I recorded the verbatim transcript of the script supervisor who is adamant that this is all complete and utter bullshit, and she's everywhere. Her name is Emma Danoff. And
Okay.
this is her testimony. I just kind of read it straight. Hello, my name is Emma Danoff. I worked on the film City of Lies, then titled Labyrinth. My job title was script supervisor. My function as script supervisor includes photographing and monitoring every detail of on-set filming, closely following every detail for verbal and visual consent. Sarah?
I muted myself. Yep.
Stop me if you see anything you want
Yeah,
to
I will.
comment. Consistency and continuity. So at 7 p.m. on April 12th, 2017, I photographed John C. Depp II, aka Mr. Depp, meeting with homeless individuals who were on the street where the City of Lies filming was taking place. The photograph here shows Mr. Depp speaking with a small group of homeless individuals. He gave them money and gifts. We then moved outside where we were to begin filming our exterior scene at 10:55 p.m. At precisely 11:08 p.m. on the evening of April 12th, Mr. Depp was sitting a few inches away from me on a bench looking together at the monitor. His breath did not smell of alcohol, and he was not inebriated or under any influence of alcohol that I could observe or even had observed during a very long day of work. Mr. Depp had already been working all day on that film, and this was a very special day on the set as Christopher Wallace's mother, aka Biggie Small, his mother Violetta Wallace, and Russell Poole's widow and family were also visiting on the set to watch the filming. At that moment, the film's location scout, Rocky Brooks, encountered an African-American homeless woman about 25 feet from where I was sitting with Mr. Depp. Sarah, do you remember when all these rumors were being cherry-picked out of this and dropped in the media as this went on? And we're just reading this stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I remember this story. I remember his version. And I remember they would leak these stories out like little by little. And I remember the homeless thing. And I remember actually said it to you. I'm like, God, that's so noble if Depp did that. I would do the exact same thing. That kind of is in line with kind of the persona he's trying to, very, very humble and just non-pretentious and defending the little guy and stuff. And I'm like, I hope that's true. And this woman is confirming every single morsel of those rooms. All these stories that were leaked ended up being true. And I believe during the Heard stuff that it was Shitney and Corey Feldman, Io Tillett Wright that were
Hmm.
leaking every bit of that. I think it was always those two leaking all
I
the stories.
totally believe that.
But it ended up all that stuff was not made up. I mean, it's directly out of the trial. It was sort of freaking me out as the trial went on because it was all stuff I had read as gossip. Even
Hmm.
the stuff about Amber. Remember, I was talking about how, way before the trial, how Amber hated the Hollywood vampires and all his dinosaur rocker friends and all that. She just was like, that basic bitch, you know, thing she has where she'd be in and hear these, 70-year-olds jamming at 2 a.m. And
Hmm.
that was just such a funny juxtaposition of thinking about her Coachella friends having to be exposed to that. And all that stuff. I thought that was, it's got to be bullshit, but that was true. It was absolutely true.
Yeah.
Mr. Brooks loudly and aggressively berated this woman with racial and derogatory slurs for being in his presence and in his way, and he was, I guess, pissed she was unable to follow his commands. I heard most of what Mr. Brooks had very unkind words to her and for her. Mr. Depp also heard it. He immediately stood up from our shared seat on the edge of a planter bench as I was giving him what is called a hand job and went over to Mr. Brooks to stand up for this woman. With a pup tent and all, Mr. Depp said to Mr. Brooks, "You can't talk to her like that. You think she's something less than you? Who do you think you are? How dare you?" Johnny exchanged words with Mr. Brooks in this manner for approximately 20 seconds, as confirmed by my photographs. And then he came and sat back down at about 11:09 p.m., as confirmed by the time-stamped photograph. There were no punches or shoves. There was actually no offer of $100,000 to punch Mr. Depp either. They were close to each other, but Mr. Depp never, ever touched Mr. Brooks, and I remained about 10 feet away from the incident during its very short duration. I also have about 40 time-stamped photographs of the entire incident, and later, after filming wrapped, about 12:31 a.m., April 13th, 2017, inside the Barclay Hotel, I was in the hallway doing post-shoot paperwork.
Sarah, you talk about having your shit together. Like this woman, you talk about having a paper trail and documenting everything. She has timestamps and pictures of every moment.
There's a little bit of sanity sprinkled on top of this mess.
I mean, but she came at this like just guns ablazing. Oh, I have pictures. I have timestamps. Fuck him. He's wrong. I mean, you couldn't have a better witness.
Yeah.
You talk about dotting all your I's. Like there's no
This is
better
right
person.
behind Isaac on the list of dream witnesses.
Yeah, I agree. I wish we could hear her and how she sounded.
Mr. Depp went up to, and Mr. Brooks probably appeared about 5 feet from me, and then they hugged. Mr. Depp then said,
Yeah, Afi raises the perfect way. Nerd, nerd. In the actual deposition, someone in the background just goes, nerd. Timestamps. She's taking, but also too, like for some of these people, like it's such an amazing experience to get to do something with Depp on a movie like this and the Biggie Small thing. You do want to I would be just giddy documenting every bit of it. She's sending, God knows what home to to show. I mean, I can see everybody doing this, but they have such confidentiality things on these movies. Though,
Of
like
course.
with banishment, we talk about the camera stuff on Thursday. How when you do stand up, all the big comedians now ban cameras and phones from all their shows.
Yeah.
"No,
Because
no
when you
hard
finally,
feelings, Rocky."
Good. Sorry.
I was gonna say, because they don't want you to be disappointed by what they're actually giving you as material.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna steal Crystal Leah's joke that he stole from who does he rip off there? He's known to God, he steals from everybody. He can just name anyone.
I forget, but he did steal the dolphins fuck people joke.
Oh, it was like Joe List or someone. I forget.
Yeah, I don't
It was
remember.
It's Bob Levy. Thanks, Happy. Yeah, it was all Bob Levy's material. What's the Levy joke? It was I beat my dick like it owes me money. He claims he made that up. I think
Hmm.
I think Freddie Roman told that to David in the 50s.
Yeah, I heard that 25 years ago.
After Mr. Brooks said what he said, it was, it was just in the heat of the moment. And then they both departed. I declare, under penalty of perjury under laws of the United States of America and the state of California, that the foregoing is true and correct. Emma Danoff, script supervisor.
Okay, that's pretty firm, but doesn't get a better witness than that. And I have not seen Brad Furman's testimony yet. I continue to look for it. I would love to hear what he has to say. That's got to be interesting. I don't know if there's a Brad. I've looked. I want to thank DeppDive.net, who has, talk about nerds, who's chronicled all the Depp transcripts in one little fun place. DeppDive.net is where I got this one from. And so we're not even halfway through, right? So we'll put a pin in it here.
We're halfway through.
Afi writes, she wants to be Depp's TikTok camera. I'm like you're a walking air fryer. Emma Danoff is Depp's TikTok camera. So our next show is Thursday, 7:15. WINO Forever the Deppening, Armageddon edition. It's a little more of a loose hang. Depp versus Stern Part 3, I believe it is. Episode what, Sarah? 69? I'm not
Oh, yes.
69. I know I was going to say that.
We are still nailing down our guests. We have Andy from Cincinnati, a Bengals fan, who I'm going to relentlessly give shit to.
David.
Yeah, I don't know who exactly we have yet.
Bela.
So
We might continue with David and Bela again because we're right in the middle of that interview.
okay. If
So
you get your third, if you got 3 guests, which we can easily do, I will be a listener because I don't want to mess up the StreamYards again.
You just don't crave the spotlight. You just don't give a shit. You're just one of these people that just
you shine, my darling.
Oh, stop.
You shine on Thursdays, my darling.
You're really good, by the way. You were really great as the attorney, by the way. Really, really good. It's a perfect simulation of how that goes. Seriously, you're really good.
Before I forget to, before we sign off here, I want to encourage everybody because it looks like there's a sale. They are, oh, never mind, it's not a sale. But anyway, I want you to keep track of our TeePublic store. It is teepublic.com/user/WINO forever. We have an Armageddon shirt and some other great shirts. I always forget to mention that. So that's available.
Tell
also Patreon.
What the shirts are, because you have a lot of great design.
We have Johnny.
You talked about my kid again, just like in London, like you design.
We have Depp shirts. We have Armageddon shirts. We have Howard Stern shirts. I have a few personal vanity shirts in there.
What are the Stern shirts?
We have a Zoo shirt, a couple Pelican Brief shirts, Friend of the Court shirts, Sturkshire shirts, a Some Fridays shirt, a Viper Room shirt, which is a very good seller for us. It's our top seller, I think. Friend of the Court, I'm skimming through it here.
How great would wearing a Friend of the Court shirt in public and someone recognized it? You're just walking around Target or Walmart and that would be the greatest fucking thing in the world if someone spotted that. Sturkshire's a little too inside baseball, but the Pelican Brief shirt, if someone caught that would be the greatest thing ever. If someone stopped you as a conversation piece.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the Friend of the Court Revolution 2013 shirt. Howard is standing next to his tiny little microphone. I redid that shirt. I might have to send Monique an updated version.
Frankenstern, Wigga Mortis body language, right? Morphon body language, classic. I love that shirt. I have it. I love it. I wear it all the time. And I love the thin material too because I sweat too easy. I just love
Did I mention the core team member shirt?
No, you did not.
Okay, it's a core team member. If you are a member of the core team, it is a way to celebrate your membership. So just look at the shirts. Don't buy them. Great. Wait for a sale though. Right now, it looks like they're regular price. Sales happen like every other day on this website.
Hooper wants to know where he can find these kind of shirts.
tpublic.com/user/WINO forever. And that
Very
link works. I
articulate.
just typed it in, took me right to the store.
Very articulate, Sarah. And I want to say that Radio Gunk, I believe we're doing something. Well, we're definitely doing something for Beth's birthday. So, Beth's strionic personality disorder for Beth's birthday. I can't remember what the date of her birthday is, but that's certainly going to be. I think it's on that day.
July 15th or something?
Is it the 15th?
I thought so. I don't know.
Okay.
I try to forget her.
I know. I'm trying to, but and then we're gonna do. There'll certainly be some kind of gunk show this week, and at the very, very latest next week. And again, we're back with the Depping 7:15 Thursday. I think it's going to be David and Balo again, continuing that. And we're going to have Andy Morgan and Bon Jovial on. And I got Fine Chug contacted me, so he wants to be on soon too. So I like the rotating panel. You could put a name to the comment, and everybody lives up to how brilliant they are in the comments. Anybody else? Contact us at thedeppening@gmail.com if you want to sit in on a fun, loose. And again, we're in the Depp versus Stern series, which probably will go at least 3 more. As long as I can keep whipping out the moments. It doesn't seem to end. We're going to do the Mike Walker game too. I got 3 versions of the Mike Walker game with Depp's involved next week.
Also, I mentioned it before, Patreon, we're going to put something up this week. I don't know what day yet. Depends on if there's a Radio Gunk this
I got
week.
so much stuff that's ready to go. So maybe I'll put something up tonight that I just have ready.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Well, bid everyone adieu. I want to thank everybody in the chat for your brilliance. Thanks for hanging with us. I don't know, the court transcript readings doesn't lend itself to live chat, but we've been planning to do this. I think it's good. I think we did a nice job. I think it's a good listen. I know I would on a long car ride. I want to thank everyone who says, your Lauren Marie's and your Fine Chugs that do take this any kind of commuting you have to do. That's always the greatest compliment when you take it on some long commute. When it's something like this, to me, that's the ultimate compliment too. So anyway, for Sarah, this is Arm saying, no time is a good time for goodbye.
Gagia.